Good evening, everyone. Please be seated. I will now call to order the City of South Miami Commission meeting for Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. The time is 7 p.m. If you could please silence or turn off your cell phones, we would be grateful. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Mayor Fernandez,
Present.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Present.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Here.
Commissioner Bonich,
Here.
Commissioner Kaye.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please stand for a brief prayer. Lord, fill my heart with your peace today. May your peace rule within my heart, my mind, and my soul. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I rejoice in the joy I can experience through your perfect peace. On the tough days when life is filled with insurmountable challenges, grant me peace of mind that transcends all understanding. Amen. Thank you. If you could please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. And today we've got a special guest, Ms. Brooke Rodriguez. If you could please come to the microphone. You want to come up here?
Want to do it here?
Brooke, please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag to the United States of America, for to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Excellent job. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. Okay, colleagues, we've got a couple of deferral requests, is my understanding, through council. First off, I'd like to move to defer item M1 on tonight's agenda. It was mistakenly placed on this agenda as opposed to the 1021 agenda. So I'd ask that one be deferred till 1021. Item 3 regarding the CRA, we'd like to defer that item to, again, as well, 1021, our next agenda. Item 8, the parking space removal ordinance, we're still working through some details. I'd like to move it again to 1021. And lastly, in terms of requests, we have a request to defer item 10 on tonight's agenda to December 2nd. And Mr. Manager, would you like to make an announcement regarding that item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor, as you know, this commission had provided some direction to myself and the city attorney to pursue conversations with the owner and developer of the site. The city attorney and myself have done so. Right now, there's a tentative agreement on a purchase. Documents are being finalized, but there would be an agreement to purchase a property from the developer. And so therefore, I believe, Mr. City Attorney, I think that they had asked for a deferral of their item for
Yes.
60 days, I believe.
For 60 days to allow that process to play out.
Okay, and the intent would be to bring back a purchase and sale agreement and any required financing on the first agenda in November for our consideration, or what would be the timeline for the items?
Yeah, I think it's two readings. Certainly, if we can make it on the 21st of October, we would. But,
Okay.
But there's an appraisal and some documents, but it'll take two readings. So maybe October 21 and the first meeting in November, or both meetings in November.
Right.
Okay, understood. Thank you for that clarification and the explanation. Colleagues, can I get a motion to defer item M1, item 3, and item 8 to October 21st, and item 10 to December 2nd? Questions?
Quick question.
Yes, sir, you're recognized.
Why, and I'm sorry, I didn't know we were doing this, so I'm caught a little off guard. Why are we deferring number 3?
Number 3, so I had a meeting yesterday with our county commissioner, and there were a couple details in the interlocal and plan that she wanted addressed, and so that'll just give us some time to send it over clean and responsive to her request. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Can we see what y'all are working on so that we're all along for the ride?
Yes, so what we have been working on was presented, but what I think would be best is if the manager can brief everyone on the item individually, so you can understand what modifications are going to be promulgated and brought forward before the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks.
Thank you. Further questions? Okay, so again, just to reiterate the motion to defer item M1, 3, and 8 to October 21st, and item 10 to December 2nd. Is there a motion?
I move the motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Bonich, I think you have a question. Maybe. Yes. Take your time. No, I got to wait because I don't want to vote without you understanding what we're doing.
No, I know. I just, does number 5 have anything to do with the parking that we're deferring?
It does. We were going to defer the parking, but I've just gotten informed by council before the start of the meeting that we may have an agreement on it, so we're going to leave it in the regular order.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so again, for everyone in the audience, item M1 to be deferred to 10/21. Item 3, which relates to a possible CRA, to be deferred to October 21st. Item 8, which is a parking space removal ordinance, to be deferred to October 21st. And item 10, which relates to a land use approval for Manor Lane, would also be deferred to December 2nd. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please, on the deferrals.
Yes, Commissioner Bonish,
Yes,
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Yep, all passes.
Okay, with that, our agenda is set for this evening. Let's move on to presentations, Madam Clerk, if we can.
Yes. Presentation. I have just one presentation that's not on the agenda. I don't have her certificate now. It takes,
Oh, we have a special recognition, huh?
yes, special recognition. Her certificate takes like 5 weeks to come. But Jessica, my deputy city clerk, has been, she has obtained her certified municipal clerk certification. A job well done. So I just want to just recognize her for achieving.
Congratulations, Jessica, and beyond the personal matter, congratulations on your wonderful daughter as well, who led us in the pledge this evening. Colleagues, any comments?
No, let's take a picture with her.
Sure, let's do it.
Big
Come
deal
on,
for her to get her certificate.
let's go.
Come on.
Yeah.
We're gonna make you come on. That's all.
Where's your? No, I'm coming tomorrow. Yeah, I'm coming tomorrow. Here you go now.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If you can read E1. Oh, no problem. Thank you. I'll read it, no worries. Okay, today we have the honor of recognizing the excellence of one of our local food and beverage establishments, Reco Eco. So if you haven't heard about it, you must be sleeping, because it is the hottest new restaurant in South Miami. Not only an incredible menu, which I got to enjoy recently, but excellent service and run by a fantastic couple that we're lucky to have here this evening. We wanted to honor them on a recent recognition, so I'll briefly read the proclamation that we prepared to honor them this evening on this important achievement. South Miami is proud to recognize and celebrate the establishments that enhance our city's culinary reputation and bring national acclaim to our community. Reco Eco is a chef-owned, intimate restaurant founded in 2024 by chefs Maria Teresa Gallina and Nicolas Martinez, together with sommelier Shannon Gable, with a goal of creating a restaurant that is personal, and it very much is that. And whereas the name Reco Eco, meaning nook or cranny in Spanish, reflects the restaurant's cozy, hidden gem character, and the founders themselves designed many of the elements of the interior, menu, and ambiance. And whereas in its first full year of operation, Reco Eco attracted national recognition such as Bon Appetit's magazine list of 20 best new restaurants in America 2025, being the only Florida restaurant to make that list and receiving a full feature cover in the October issue. And whereas Reco Eco also received recognition by Time Out as one of America's best new restaurants in 2025 and has been listed in the 2025 Michelin Guide as a recommended restaurant in South Florida. Whereas through its national recognition, culinary innovation, Reco Eco not only enhances South Miami's reputation as a destination for excellence in dining, but helps uplift the entire region's visibility on the national gastronomic stage. And now, therefore, I, Javier Fernandez, as mayor, along with my colleagues, City Commissioner and Vice Mayor Brian Corey, Commissioners Bonich, Gaye, and Rodriguez, do hereby proclaim today, October 7th, 2025, as Reco Eco Day. So if you could please come forward. We'd love to take a picture and recognize, please come forward. If you could say a few words and share a little bit about the inspiration beyond what is a mini gastronomic miracle here in South Miami. And we're very lucky, obviously, we're very grateful first for your investment and choosing South Miami as your home. But love to hear more about you, your story, and the inspiration behind this fantastic establishment.
Well, I guess I am the designated
Speaker.
I'm recognized at the moment. We didn't know about the Recoveco Day, so that's very special for us to hear. Very special day for us. I think the national acclaim is always nice. It obviously helps and supports.
Let me ask you to back up and start, if you wouldn't mind, starting with your name and introducing your team for those who may not know who you are.
So I'm
There you go.
Tere, I'm
Go on.
Maria Teresa. This is my husband, Nico. This is Shannon, our son, and this is Sofia, our rock. She also works
Yep.
at the restaurant. She's, jack of all trades. I was saying that I guess the national recognition is obviously very nice. It supports the restaurant, but I think even before all of this came our way, we had a very good circle and a very good community of people in South Miami and Miami, people we know locally that have supported the restaurant. This is obviously, a big blessing and we take it in, but really the people that came at the beginning, that lived 3 minutes away and sort of stumbled upon us and told their neighbors and their friends at work about the restaurant is really what has built the restaurant itself. I don't know if you guys want to say a couple words. I think you guys are all public servants and we see ourselves very much as the public service of the restaurant. Our dishwasher Jennifer the other day told me she wanted to open a restaurant, but she wasn't so sure because of all the work that it really took behind the scenes. And I told her one of the things that I have learned is that really when you open a restaurant, you're not working for yourself. You're working for all the people that now depend on you and all the people that come and support it. And I really do see it in that way. I guess I never get to thank my family publicly for believing in a dream that is now far beyond ourselves, but I'm very lucky that they have helped support it every step of the way, and they are very hardworking, and then they see all the hard work that we do, and makes me very proud.
Thank you all very much for the recognition.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our distinct honor and pleasure. And I just want to say, I mean, it really, when you go there, it not only lives true to its name, but it really, you can tell it's a family. And it's certainly a labor of passion, first and foremost. And the results are evident in the food and in the interactions with all of you when you enjoy that really wonderful place. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's take a picture.
Thank you, Brandon. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, these people.
Okay, now hear from a presentation from our federal lobbyist, Omar Franco. Mr. Franco, are you online?
Yeah, Mayor.
Okay.
We
Yes,
have
Mr.
Omar.
Manager.
Yeah, Omar, a federal lobbyist from Becker, is online, and it was just to give you a report and update on some of the work that he's doing and the state of Washington. So,
State of the shutdown?
yeah, the lack of progress in the last 7 days since this.
Omar, good evening.
How are you?
Good,
Can you hear
good. Thank you
me?
for joining us. We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, I think, yeah, we're just all here patiently waiting. I'm here on K Street, and, you know, we've been monitoring the situation to see if they can get the shutdown resolved. Obviously, the community project funding that we did through Congresswoman Maria Vida Salazar. That's gone through the process. We should be in great shape there. But now we're really, you know, trying to get, because they need to fix the shutdown and open government before they can resume their regular order on the appropriations process. I anticipate that, you know, the continuing resolution would probably put it somewhere in November. So either way, we're going to be back in 5 weeks to continue to discuss. But I do know that the House is already looking to start combining 3 of the bills that have already passed on committee and put those on the floor. And the Senate is doing their job as well. So really, you know, I do expect everything to be hopefully finished and everything done by, you know, probably late December at this point. But we just got to get out of this, you know, shutdown situation. So, you know, that's it. The projects, by the way, as feedback through the Congresswoman's office and the Appropriations Committee, the feedback has been fantastic on the projects we've submitted on the septic to sewer. You know, thank you for the city for submitting a great project, something that, you know, the committee can get behind. And, you know, obviously a huge importance to the South Florida community to start, you know, getting on those public sewers and, you know, improving the water quality down in our South Florida community. So thank you for that. And at that point, you know, I'll just leave it up for any questions you may have, because, I mean, obviously it's a little bit volatile here. So happy to open up to the commission to see if you have any questions for me.
Colleagues, any questions of Mr. Franco? Nope. Madam Vice Mayor? No, Mr. Vice Mayor, Madam Commissioner, no one? Okay. Well, then you've been left, I mean, not on the hot seat at all, Omar. So thank you for the job well done. We've had success last year with the appropriation on septic to sewer as a first cut, looking for some repeat success there and hopefully getting that basin finalized certainly in the next couple of years. So thank you for all your good work.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor, and thank you, everybody on the commission. And again, as Chip knows and Samantha, you know, I'm available for anything that comes up at the federal level. Happy to help in any way.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. Colleagues, next up on order of business is the approval of the minutes of September 3rd for our special meeting, September 3rd for our regular meeting, September 16th for our special meeting, and then our regular meeting of September 16th as well. Is there a motion to approve all 4 meeting minutes?
I'll move it.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll on the approval of all 4 minutes.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonish,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Minutes passed. Thank you.
Mr. Manager, your report, please.
Good evening. The community center is going to be closed this Friday, October 10th until 2 p.m. That's to accommodate a crane and 2 flatbed trucks that are going to be coming for the process of replacing the outside air units. So small inconvenience for a good reason. Registration is also open in parks for the teen social media marketing class. That's free to South Miami residents ages 13 to 17. The classes will meet at the Mobley Building Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. And that program runs October 14th to November 13th. On the event side, Thursday night, we have Mayor's State of the City at South Miami Middle School. This Saturday, October 11th, we have South Miami Kids Marketplace. That's happening where Second Saturdays happens on 58th Ave between 73rd and 74th, where the street's going to be lined with young entrepreneurs selling their products and services. And that event is followed by our first second Saturdays of the season, where we're bringing back Country Night, which was very popular the last time around. So this season, the events run from 5:30 to 9:30. Then following that, October 17th, we have Movies at the Park at Marshall Williamson Park. That's another free event with the movie starting at 7 p.m. A big thank you to our teams in Community Affairs, Sam and Evelyn, as well as Parks and Public Works that took part in the community cleanup on September 20th, along with the mayor. It was International Coastal Cleanup Day, so we were one of 68 cleanups that were happening across Miami-Dade County. SOMI volunteers alone collected 150 pounds of garbage, and collectively over 25,000 pounds of garbage was collected throughout Miami-Dade County. So it was a very successful event. The next one will be in January. As an initiative from Commissioner Kaye, the city has officially joined Workforce Miami. This is a countywide initiative that connects residents to jobs, job training, career advancement resources. It's spearheaded by Miami-Dade County, and it's a one-stop shop. It's a hub where people can find opportunities. So anybody that's interested in exploring that can find the link that's published in tonight's manager's report. And last but not least, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the city has partnered with 305 Pink Pack. We're inviting everyone to wear pink on Fridays throughout the month and to donate via our SOMI Cares page. 305 Pink Pack provides transportation, childcare, and more to no cost at women in Miami who are receiving cancer treatment so that they can focus on healing and spending time with their families. So anybody that's interested in donating to them can reach out to our city's HR. That's the end of the manager's report, aside from congratulations to Jessica on her achievement.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Manager. Colleagues, any questions of the manager? Okay, thank you for the report.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, you're recognized for your report.
Thank you, Mayor, but we have nothing new to report other than what's on your agenda already.
Okay, any questions on any matters for the City Attorney? None? Okay, we will move on then. So we will begin public remarks. I do have a sign-in sheet. If you have not signed up for public remarks but would like to speak, please ask Brandon or John for a sheet, and we'd like you to register just so we can go through that list as efficiently as possible. If you are online and would like to speak during public remarks, you can raise your hand. I do want to note, because I do see some items on tonight's agenda that are public hearing items. If you are here for the clinic lease, which is item number 9, that is a public hearing item. I am going to open up, we have to open the floor for public remarks. So if you want to save your remarks for when the item is called, and I will call that immediately after public remarks close, we'll give you an opportunity to speak concurrently with the item, just to kind of save ourselves some time. We also have public hearing items on items 4 and 5. So if you do have time to speak on those items as well, if you're here for those items in the audience. And lastly, is item 6 a public hearing item as well, Mr. City Attorney? Okay, so that is also a public hearing item. So if you're here on item 6, which is the sale of 6179 Southwest 62nd Terrace, I just invite you to save your comments for when item 6 is called as well, okay? With that, first on the list is Victoria Sanders, who's registered for the clinic lease. Ms. Sanders, would you like to speak now or when item 9 is called? Okay, come on forward. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Victoria Sanders, and I would like to read a letter that I wrote to the council.
Okay.
On behalf of item number 9 and Dr. Scott. Dear honorable council members, I am writing to you as a single mother and a lifelong resident of South Miami, with deep concern and a heartfelt plea to preserve the South Miami Children's Clinic under the care of Dr. Scott. This clinic has become a cornerstone in our neighborhood, not only because of the quality of medical care provided, but also because of the profound role it plays in the well-being of families like mine. Dr. Scott provides medical treatment for children who do not have health insurance, ensuring that no child in our community is turned away from receiving essential care. In times when many families face financial strain, the clinic has been a source of concrete support, offering attentive, timely, and compassionate care. She is swift in securing appointments, thorough in her follow-up, and truly invested in the health of every child she serves. Beyond medical care, Dr. Scott extends her support to meet the broader needs of our community. Every month, she organizes food distributions for our families, creates opportunities for children to grow beyond the doctor's office, and uplifts households in ways that are rarely seen in a pediatric practice. My family is a direct testimony to the impact of her work. Dr. Scott has gifted both of my children bicycles for holidays, awarded my 3-year-old son Maurice a scholarship for swimming lessons with iSwim Academy. Thank you to Coach Nick and Coach Bella. Allowing him to learn a life-saving skill in just 1 week. She also connected my 12-year-old son Caleb to Breakthrough Miami, an academic enrichment program that has opened doors to exceptional educational opportunities. Through Dr. Scott, he has also participated in cooking classes and local cook-offs led by top chefs, nurturing his culinary skills and confidence. These experiences are shaping his futures in ways I never thought possible. So Dr. Scott is more than a pediatrician. She's a lifeline for families in South Miami. Her clinic embodies the values of equity, compassion, and community support. Removing this resource would leave a devastating gap in our neighborhood, particularly for children whose caregivers cannot otherwise afford quality medical care. I urge the council to recognize the tremendous value of the South Miami Children's Clinic and to take every measure possible to ensure that it remains in our community. The health, growth, and the future of our children depend on it. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you for your comments. Oh,
Sincerely,
sorry.
a single mother of South Miami.
Victoria, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Stephen Pearson. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Stephen Pearson. I was a founding member and past president of the Flowering Tree Society, and I helped in 1992 design and plant Gene Willis Park. It was the first flowering tree park in Dade County. And I know leadership changes, but at the time we were encouraged to do this project, and we were happy to do it to help the city. I'd like to come next month and talk to you about a proposal to restore the park that I'm willing to fund personally and get volunteers from both the Flowering Tree Society and Tremendous Miami to help do it. But tonight I want to talk to you about this proposal that you can move these trees. These trees are 33 years old. Whoever's telling you they can be moved easily either doesn't know what they're talking about or just doesn't care. Secondly, you should understand more about what the underline. The former vice mayor and commissioner, Bob Welsh, he understood it. He called it right off. It was a fraud. It's a hole that taxpayer dollars are just going down. If I had $1 for every pine that's died out there, for every acacia farnesia that's died, for other trees that have died as they try to do this, for all the trees they killed after telling us that they would not kill our trees, they got in trouble with DERM. They've destroyed things that they shouldn't have done. And the person who wants this park, she wants it to be all native. So they don't want flowering trees in the first place. Third, whoever's making these decisions, it's obvious to me, after working out there to plant trees on the right-of-way of the city of Miami at their encouragement for years, that these politicians have never been out there. It's no fun out there. You're breathing car fumes. Every time the train comes over, it like shakes your whole body, and you can't even talk for a minute until the train. This idea that some families are going to go out and take Johnny and Sally out there on Sunday to walk or bike will never happen. Nobody wants their kid out there, let's toughen up the kid by, having his ears blasted and having breathing car exhaust. It's also very dangerous. A drunken driver can jump a curve and kill somebody. It's just, the underline is a half-baked proposal that's costing us taxpayers big, big money. Don't buy into this stuff. Let them do what they want to do. They got the county support. But keep Gene Willis Park as a separate, beautiful oasis of beauty and ecological benefits. I understand you're talking about putting apartment houses in this new area as part of the redevelopment. That would be a perfect place for the people who live there. And I know when we first did the park, it was visited much more than it is today. It's kind of run down. It's been 33 years. I did fund about, I guess it was 9 years ago, a small replanting a part of it, but the people that promised me that they would water it, they didn't do it. I think every plant of that little Band-Aid has been lost. This time, if we do it, we will keep care of the trees, make sure they're mulched and are properly cared for, and we can make this an oasis of beauty and ecological benefits.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. I
Thank
look
you.
forward to having a conversation offline with you. Okay. I said thank you for your comments. I look forward to having a conversation with you offline.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you, sir. Next up on the list, we've got Valencia Brown. Again, this is on the clinic lease. You're welcome to speak now or when the item is called. Ms. Brown? I'm assuming she's going to wait then. Amy McCants? Please come forward. Good evening.
Commissioners, my name is Amy McCants. I have worked for Dr. Scott for 17 years.
Ms. McCants, before you begin, if I can get your address for the record. My apologies.
My name is Amy McCants. I live at 6272 Southwest 59th Place, Miami, Florida, 33143.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I have been working for Dr. Scott for 17 years. I'm the person that sanitizes the clinic and keeps it squeaky clean. Along that 17 years, I find Dr. Scott to be a kind-hearted, genuine, and fair person who takes pride and great concern in the well-being of the children. Dr. Scott treats her patients with the utmost care and respect and is loved by all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCants. Next on the list, Vanessa Blanding, again on the clinic lease. You're welcome to speak now or when item 9 is called. Ms. Blanding? Okay. Dominique, I think it's G or Y. I can't make out the last initial. Dominique? Okay, not seeing a Dominique. Mayor Phillips, you're recognized.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Sally Phillips, and I live at 7310 Southwest 64th Court in South Miami. And my first request is, please, from now on, would you call me either Sally or Dr. Phillips if you have to be formal, but don't call me Mayor anymore. I give you permission not to go along with what is the current and approved way of doing things. I'm actually more comfortable with calling me Sally.
Understood.
Or Dr. Phillips.
Happy to honor the request.
Thank you. The other thing is, too, I think it's much more appropriate to start a civic meeting with a moment of silence as opposed to a prayer. And I would like to go on record as saying that I would prefer that. As far as it was always my understanding that that's how this city started its civic meetings. And so I would like to ask, please, that you return to that standard. And although I did not put this down as something I wanted to talk about, it's because my head is in a lot of different places, I want to absolutely support the city renewing the lease for the Children's Center. I hope that's just on the agenda because it's pro forma and not because it's a question. because that is a very valuable service, and there should be no question about it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Levi Kelly, you're recognized, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm going to recognize Philip Stoddard next.
Hi, very briefly, I'm going to come back for the public hearing on some of the other items. But I wanted to sort of follow up a little bit on Steve Pearson's comments on the Gene Willis Park. If or when the City Hall property is redeveloped, something I want you all to think about is the noise of the train, and you can't miss it, of course. You hear it everywhere. But I think that park may become more valuable as a recreational amenity than it currently is. Right now, it's a relatively little-used park. Mr. Pearson's right about not being able to move the big trees. We checked into that, and they just don't move. Poincianas don't move. That couple others don't move. But that park, I think, will increase in its recreational value considerably and will form a very nice amenity for any residential that's built on this site here. So that's just something to keep in mind when you sort of thinking about the value of that site in the future. And I'll come back and talk to you at the public hearings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. George Milian.
Good evening. George Milian, 6531 Southwest 62nd Court.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I'm here to talk about 62nd Court, but really quick, I want to say thank you to the mayor and Corey and everyone up there that helped Miss Kim Coffey, our resident homeless lady. Officer Napier, a fantastic guy, would pick up the phone in Ohio and tell me what to do. And his now predecessor, Mr. Prathers, or Prathers, another good guy. I think that he's going to fill those shoes that are hard to fill because Officer Napier was
One of kind.
a great gentleman. So thank you very much for all the help. I know Brian, I've spoken with him. I've already offered my thanks, and I'm here saying it again. Thank you very much. So I want to talk about 62nd Avenue. You know, for many years, the line of the downtown was 70th Street. And they turned that 62nd Avenue that was a 4-lane raceway back down the 2 lanes. And, you know, that area should stay low density. I know they came up with the Todd support. I don't know where they pulled that out of. In my opinion, Todd support sounds great, and the way we should support it is by lower density approaching our city. Already, when South Miami Hospital Rehab Center gets online and all the new buildings start getting online, where are people going to go? They're not. 62nd Avenue now sometimes gets blocked all the way to 64th. So now putting a 6-story building there and then a bunch of residents behind it, that density is crazy and outrageous, and I think it'll be horrible for our city going forward. I don't think the city should grant property owners a gift of $50 million, because right now, under the zoning that they had prior to this change, they couldn't build a whole heck of a lot. They could have made $15 million, but they choose not to. They want to go for the, $70 million range, and on the backs of the people that live here, right? Because that's what we're giving up, is our quality of life here in South Miami. What's the city getting out of it? Why would the city be so interested in allowing such a crazy project going up right behind residents in an area that I was told, isn't part of Todd, but now with this new designation, it seems it is. Where's this going to end? Is it going to be 6-story all the way to 64th Street? It's too big of a building. I think if they've brought these developments over the 25 years I've lived there 15 times, and it's always such an outrageous, disgusting amount of density that, it gets voted down. Why don't the developers get together with the residents and figure out something a little better that will work there? but 6 stories and then 3-story tearing back to 2 for housing there. Our neighbors, Luigi, Frank here, me, and I see many of my neighbors back here. How many signatures do you need to get the residents involved? I will go door to door and get all the signatures required so we can at least have a seat at the table when that decision's being made. And everyone has my number, you can call me. I'm available at any given moment, and get the residents involved. Deny this 6-story, this much density, it doesn't make sense there. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, that's all, excuse me. That's all the names I have on the list. Madam Clerk, we've got a couple raised hands I see. Rashida is the first one. Rashida, if you can unmute yourself.
Hi, yes. I just wanted to speak on the renewal for the clinic.
Rashida, if you can get your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, it's 7853 Southwest 195th Street.
And your last name, please?
Elias.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Basically, I'm a foster parent, and I also work for a nonprofit, Genesis Hopewell Haven, and we work with foster kids like across South Miami. We work with all of them on the south side, and we use Dr. Scott often. She's been like super helpful, and all my kids go to her in that clinic, and she's helped a lot at our nonprofit as well, just talking with the kids and just providing like resources. She's very, very helpful. So that's all.
Thank you for your comments, Rashida. We'll recognize Sonia Stephen next. Sonia, if you could please unmute yourself. Ms. Stephen, if you can unmute yourself, and then please give us your name and address for the record, please. Ms. Stephen? Okay, let's move on. I think I saw an iPhone 515 next. iPhone 515, if you can unmute yourself, please. And if you could please share your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, hi, how are you? I'm Athena Atkinson. My apologies for the iPhone 15.
It's okay.
I was trying to put my name in.
Mine's
yes,
147, so it's all good.
Okay, thanks. My address is 227 South Dixie Highway, Coral Gables, Florida, and I am advocating for the clinic. Just to let you know, I'm a passionate member of the community. I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Scott during the summer. I taught a cooking class to enrich the students in that area. For over 2 decades now, I dedicated myself to teaching, and it's been incredibly rewarding to bring my expertise to that community. The clinic is more than just a healthcare facility. It's a lifeline for our families. Dr. Scott is more than a doctor. She's a beacon of hope, working to provide the care and support of our community. By keeping this clinic, we are invested in the health and well-being of our children and families. We are ensuring that they have access to resources they need to thrive. This clinic is a space where empathy meets healthcare, where education meets opportunity. Let us come together to support the vital institution. By preserving this clinic, we are not just maintaining a building, we are nurturing our community and future. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments again, Ms. Atkinson. Anam Majid, if you can please unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Anam Majid. I live at 5928 Southwest 66th Street, Miami, Florida 33143. And I'm here to express how essential it is to extend Dr. Scott's clinic lease, not only for her as a practitioner, but for the community she serves every single day. In many ways, physicians like Dr. Scott are the backbone of our local healthcare system. To this day, Dr. Scott remains my family's primary point of contact for medical assistance, alleviating our struggles with access to care. Dr. Scott's practice provides not just medical treatment, but reassurance, guidance, and continuity, which is something that is increasingly rare in today's healthcare. She partners with community programs and local organizations to bring preventative care, education, and wellness initiatives directly to the people who need them most, especially advocating for vaccine education and preventing the spread of diseases, as well as hosting food drives for our community. On a more personal note, I first-hand seen the difference Dr. Scott makes throughout my childhood. Dr. Scott didn't treat me like a regular patient. She never brushed off my concerns, listened attentively, and ensured I was doing well in school. Whenever I was overwhelmed or struggling with certain subjects, Dr. Scott provided me with free tutoring resources and helpful online resources. I have watched her continuously advocate for my health and that of my brothers by providing us with healthcare information, as well as ensuring that our providers are treating us fairly and ethically, even though we are now adults. Her care has inspired my brother and I to pursue healthcare. I also recall her holding numerous holiday activities throughout my childhood for our community, providing children with positive core memories and giving them positive associations with physicians, which is something I'd like to follow suit one day. These acts reflect the kind of care that cannot be replaced, care rooted in community and compassion. Extending her lease isn't just a property decision, it's an investment in the healthcare and stability of our community. It ensures that children and families continue to have access to someone who knows them and advocates for them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. We'll call next Justin Ritzinger. Mr. Ritzinger, you are recognized to speak. If you could please unmute yourself and share your address for the record. Justin? Justin, can you mute yourself, please?
Yes, sorry.
No problem. If you could share your address for the record, please.
My address is 7747 Southwest 86th Street, apartment 110, Miami, Florida, 33143. I'm calling in to voice support for the renewal of the South Miami Children's Clinic lease. My children have gone to Dr. Scott for 6 years now. She is an absolutely fabulous doctor. I am thrilled that someone was able to introduce me to her. I often tell people that I feel like I received concierge medicine, all while supporting a nonprofit by bringing my children to her. She responds to messages well after the end of the business day. She's called when I was concerned about something with my younger daughter, when she was coming back on a road trip on a Sunday. The level of care that she provides to her patients, many of whom lack insurance and economic advantages, is almost unheard of in American medicine. The leadership that she provides to the community, whether that is through her vaccine drives or her work to bring mobile food clinics to the community, is really exemplary. So I just wanted to speak in support of that. I think she's a treasure to the community that I am very grateful for, and I feel the city of South Miami should be as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. We'll recognize next Zuani Haspel.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for accepting my comments. My name is Zuani Haspel. My address is 11991 Southwest 119th Street, Miami, Florida, 33186.
Thank you. You're recognized, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm speaking this evening on behalf of the South Miami Clinic renewal. As a public servant in the community, working for the Miami-Dade County Public School System for over 20 years, I've had the opportunity of working with many agencies and many medical clinics for different reasons, servicing our students. Working with Dr. Scott, there's no comparison to what she does and her heartfelt work in the community. It's not only medical, it's also education, it's also compassion. I don't know if you're familiar with the agency Doctors Without Borders. So those are doctors that they work all over the world. Dr. Scott, to me, she is that person in the city of South Miami. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, what your ethnicity, color, nothing. What matters is the person. And that is a gift that not many people have. That is a gift that not many people have the opportunity to receive when receiving medical care, and also the extension of her clinic, which is also, providing, as we have heard already, food drives, education through diet, with the different chefs that have come into the community to teach children and families how to adequately use food resources, educational services, tutoring, and we heard about the swimming, and it just goes on and on. But just to just say that Dr. Scott and her service, it's a treasure. And honestly, it would be foolish. It would be something foolish to not continue that, because not only is her service amazing, but she is an example to people of all ages. I dare say I'm older than Dr. Scott, and she's an example to me. So please, 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 it's more than a money situation, it's a life situation. She is truly a lifeline to the city of South Miami and to anyone that comes in contact with her service. So, thank you again for this opportunity, and we are rooting for that South Miami Children's Clinic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. And just to take the suspense out of the item, I think I want to say that we are rooting for the clinic as well. And tonight's item, I think, will pass on a 5-0 vote, as it did on first reading, after we hear a couple of technical amendments on the part of our city attorney. So, but again, we'll recognize the next speaker, Afaya, as well. I didn't have your last name. If you could please unmute yourself. You've got 3 minutes to address the commission. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Yes, hello, I'm sorry. My name is Afia Kadir. I live at 10841 Southwest 158th Street, Miami, Florida, 33157. And I'd like to comment on behalf as well of South Miami Children's Clinic.
Ms. Kadir, before you go forward, can you repeat the last, it was 10841 Southwest?
10841 Southwest 158th Street.
Thank you for that. My apologies. Please go right ahead.
No, you're fine. Thank you. So yes, I'm commenting on behalf of South Miami Children's Clinic with Dr. Scott. She, like everyone has said, she's been a pillar of hope to the community. I was a resident of South Miami for many years before moving down to Homestead. But till this day, since my children have been born, they've been coming with her. I even travel from Homestead to go straight to her for all of their appointments. I wouldn't want it with any other doctor, with any other clinic. She is absolutely phenomenal. She's been with them since birth till now, every step of the way. And I wish I could even keep them there as they get older. But no, she's been a pillar of hope. I pray she stays there. She's been a very great doctor, very attentive to everybody, no matter who it is. My sister also goes there with her children, and we all, we embrace how caring, sympathetic she is. It's so hard to find a doctor like that anywhere, and I wouldn't change. No matter where I am, I will go straight to her just for my children, for us as well. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Ms. Lisa Truby, you're recognized. If you could unmute yourself. Ms. Truby? Lisa Truby, you're recognized. If you could please unmute yourself.
Sorry,
No problem.
technical difficulty.
Good
Hi,
evening.
of course, can you hear me?
We can, yes. If you could just share your address for the record again, Ms. Truby, we'd appreciate it.
Yes, I'm Lisa Truby, 6522 Southwest 76th Terrace, South Miami. I'm just gonna very briefly say, again, Dr. Scott. She and I've also been in the community working as a social worker in our South Miami schools, and she and I have been very close since she started her clinic, which has grown in the community. Obviously, all the people who are here to support her and her work and her team, which consists of Amy McCants and Griselda. And they do, just the three of them just do so much. I think you're getting your money's worth, if you ask me, because it's more than a clinic, obviously. They're doing so much more work besides medical. Also, I will speak up for her mental health care. She has often called me many times over the years, and we work together on those things. And because the mental health needs of our kids are obviously a big, important thing that we all want to take care of, and she has been on the forefront of that. And also, I'll mention she started telehealth before telehealth was a thing. Before COVID, she fought for it. So innovative, brilliant, never, I don't know how to, I couldn't say a million, I could say a million things about her. She is an amazing, amazing hero of our community. And she doesn't even live in South Miami. She does more for us than she does for where she lives. Yes, we do. But anyway, that's it for me, and I love her, and she's great, and everybody obviously loves her. So thank you I hope you do what you said you were going to do. That sounds good to me.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay.
I see Rachel with a hand up. Rachel, if you could share your last name and your address. You're recognized if you will unmute yourself. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Rachel White. My address is 13902 Southwest 55th Street, Miami, Florida 33175.
Thank you.
I just wanted to get on here as one of Dr. Scott's current patients. I've been seeing her since I can't even remember how young. She has made such a big impact in my life as a patient of hers. She's always been there, super non-judgmental. She is like when kids watch a movie and they see this amazing doctor, and when they see these kids shows and the doctors are represented as such like amazing people. She is a great representation. Like I'm getting out of age for her, and I'm like stressing like, oh my God, am I ever gonna find a doctor who is genuine and sincere just as much as she is? And I feel like it would be a dishonor to like take her from the kids and from the future kids that she will be seeing, because it's a blessing. She's honestly a blessing and an angel to South Miami, and I hope that you guys are able to renew the lease for that clinic, because they really are superheroes to me. And I'm saying that as like a ripe 20-year-old. She is my hero, and that clinic has done so much for me.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, Madam Clerk, is there anyone else online that we can see with a raised hand? Anybody else online, lots of people, who would like to address this commission on any item?
Raise your virtual hand.
Again, if you'd like to address item 9, which is the children's clinic lease renewal, which we're going to approve, will be up immediately after we close public remarks, but you also are welcome, as your right under the public hearing, to speak at that time. Seeing one more hand, which is Sonia Stephen again. And Stephen, I think we missed you. So
Yeah.
I do have 4 names on the written list, which are Sheila Fernandez, Erica Stanley, Lori Butler, and Dennis Fay. I'm assuming you all wouldn't mind speaking when we call the item very shortly? Okay. Great, thank you. So, and we've got, I know Mr. McCants and Mr. Kelly and others who forewent their chance to speak during public remarks. Ms. Stephen, are you here to address item 9? If not, I'm going to invite you to speak when we bring it up shortly. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Good evening.
And
Yes,
we will
good evening.
allow
I'm
you to speak
here.
on any other item you'd like to address. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can. Are you here to speak on the clinic lease renewal?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to invite you to mute yourself for 1 more minute so we can close public remark, and then we're going to call up the item, have our city attorney explain some modest amendments that were made to benefit the clinic further, and then we will open up public hearing for anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of the item. Okay? So, Ms. Stevens,
Okay, thank
ask,
you.
mute yourself one more minute. Anyone else who would like to address this commission in public remarks, online or in person? Speak now or forever hold your peace. We've got one here. Please come forward, young lady. And again, if you can share your name and address for the record, we'd appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Fernandez. My address is 7473 Southwest 82nd Street.
Okay.
We have a lot of good words about the clinic, and I just would like to add to that. I am a patient of Dr. Scott's. I am a member of the city of South Miami. I attend South Miami Senior High. I'm a senior. And I would like to say that without the help of Dr. Scott, I do not think I would be where I am today. She is not just a doctor, but I would like to say that she really is an advocate for her community, and I believe she is one of the great examples of Black excellence that we have in our community of South Miami, and she deserves all of the praise. And her proximity to those who need her, those who don't have health insurance, those who just have health issues that they need to be seen, they need her the most. And not just those people, everybody, every child and family can see her. She really is what makes the city so pleasant, and she really does deserve to have this lease renewed, but I feel even more than that. And a lot has been said, but I would also just like to, even though she is behind me, to not just address the council, but to her. She is a true leader for this community. She's not just a doctor. She doesn't just put Band-Aids on boo-boos. She really puts a Band-Aid over the community. She's not just a mother to her two amazing daughters. She's a mother to all of us. And that's all I would like to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your lovely words and having the courage to say something this evening. Okay. Please come forward, yes. It's fine.
So my name is Dennis Fay. Good evening, sir and madam. So I'm from 1100 South Street, Coral Gables. I used to live in South Miami for many years at the 65th Avenue. So I want to speak in favor of renewing the lease for South Miami Clinic. So I take your words that it will be renewed. So, but all I just want to say is that since I now live in Coral Gables, if the lease is not renewed today, tomorrow I'm going to speak to Dr. Mayor Lago.
We don't want
Vice Mayor
that.
Anderson.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
Will be moved
Okay,
to
we're
South
gonna mute your
Coral Gables.
microphone. Sit down. No, thank you for your comments. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Davis, 8112 Southwest 73rd Avenue. I am driving all the way from Dadeland Mall.
It's a long drive.
With today's traffic. But I wanted to say very quickly, I'm the co-founder and president of the Coconut Grove Optimist Club, and Dr. Scott has been someone that we can lean on even as an outside entity. We're not necessarily within South Miami, but a lot of our children, they may attend school in South Miami, but then they may do sports in the Grove, or they may live in South Miami, but they do sports in the Grove. But she's ensured that our children have access and they're not denied. Personally, I don't know if people know here, but as of 2024, over 22,000 children were dropped from Medicaid. Those are children that were too high for traditional Medicaid, but they also could not afford traditional insurance. Well, my husband works a full-time 9 to 5. Mr. Mayor, I did the cleanup here with you with his job. We're both hardworking people. Unfortunately, we fell in that pile of people who had children that were uninsured. We had too much money for Medicaid, yet too little money for traditional insurance. Dr. Scott did not turn us away. When we called, she didn't say, well, do you have Medicaid or do you have regular insurance? She didn't say, well, are you going to be able to pay $500 for this one visit? She said, if they're sick, you can bring them, and I'm going to be there to help them. These are the type of doctors that we need. Lastly, I would like to say that while we're hearing so much comment about what she does for the community, I would like for this council, for you all great ladies and gentlemen, to do something for this clinic. More than just maybe a renovation, maybe there needs to be additional funding added. More so than a lease renewal, we need to talk about renewal of resources, because she has gone above and beyond to ensure that this community and other communities have what they need. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Don't leave yet. Come back, please. I was just talking with the council about our conversation about the Optimist earlier, so if you could do me the favor, because I gave you my cell phone number, you never called me.
You did.
Could you leave your cell phone number with Brandon, please, so I can give you a call? Thank you very much. Good to see you again. Okay. Erica Stanley. Oh, no, sorry. What am I doing? Erica Stanley, Lori Butler. If you'd like to speak now, you are welcome, or if not, we will call the item up when we close public hearing, and you can address us then. No, can't get you to wait a minute, maybe? Thank you very much. Okay, so with that, seeing no one else in public remarks in the audience or online, if you're here on the clinic, I'm going to call you up, I promise, okay? The price will be right in 1 minute, okay? You can come on down the aisle, okay? Okay, we are going to close public remarks this evening, and colleagues, unless you have a strong objection, which I hope you will not, can we please have the clerk read item 9 for the record, please?
Yes, item 9, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, approving a lease agreement with South Miami Children's Clinic, Inc. in connection with an existing franchise, providing for the continued use of the property located at 6655 Southwest 58th Place, authorizing the city manager to execute the lease agreement.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay. No, you cannot say anything. You're the only folks I can control here, so I'm going to try to get back control of my meeting, so for the minute. So what I would like to do is very quickly, Mr. City Attorney, since we approved this on first reading with less generous terms, I'd like you to read the modifications that were requested by the clinic that we are also incorporating and will hopefully approve in very short order. So if you can please run us through the changes. Sorry, Madam City Attorney, excuse me. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. So since first reading, there was some cleanup changes made to this lease by us, the city attorneys, and also the clinic proposed some changes, almost all of which we accepted, except for one insurance matter. And if you'd like, I can run through.
Sure,
the
you're
changes.
happy to do that. Yeah.
The first change was section 5.1.1, and you should all have a red line in front of you. And essentially, this gave them an additional 30 days to complete inspections and certification of the site if they need it.
Okay.
5.3, recurring repairs. The clinic inserted the amount of $5,000. So if the repairs to the clinic exceed
It's a
$5,000, they
major
need to
one, we have to
notify the city.
notify us. Fair enough.
Item 8.2, the certificate of insurance. We asked that the hazard insurance or casualty insurance property name the city as an additional insured. So
Okay.
that was not accepted. Some insurance modifications were made regarding deductibles and minimum insurance limits, all of which were accepted. I believe that's all, Mayor and Commission, and we did insert the legal description, which was missing in the first draft, and the clinic proposed Exhibit B, which essentially is a sketch of the premises.
Okay.
And that's the red area circled there.
Okay. I just want to ask Dr. Scott, because, by the way, congratulations, because you are certainly going to heaven. And I know that if I voted against this lease renewal, I'm certainly going to hell. So, I just want to ask you, do you have any objections to any of the changes that were incorporated? Any? The address is incorrect. So, Madam City Attorney, if we could just note the correct address.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, so there was a former address for that site, but that site was parceled off. And there is actually, it has its own folio, and it was assigned an address.
So
by the property-
6685 is the newly assigned address.
The
so-
newly assigned address by the property
Okay.
appraiser. I'm not sure when that occurred, but that if you check on the property appraiser's website, that's what you will find.
Either way, the legal description controls, so
Correct.
we're on safe ground other way, so hopefully that's not a big deal. Any other issues, or was everything else A-okay? Okay. Okay, before we'll close, we'll take some comments, we'll recognize you to speak before we open a public hearing, and then we'll go from there, okay? Madam Commissioner, you wanted to say something. You're recognized.
I make you nervous. I know I do. It's true. I just want to point out that while there is a lot of support for this, I think we would be remiss in not voicing that this is a healthcare center at the corner of a healthcare center. I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent, but we are famous for, putting a park next to a park across the street from a park. We do these things quite often. So I want us to be very cognizant, not just us, but for the record, our residents, that this is a clinic that is open for everyone, as is the one down the street. I'm not saying one care is better than the other. They both exist. I also want us to be aware for the future as our needs change, as I am sure that they will as we continue to grow and evolve as a city. This is 4,000 square feet for one doctor. I'm not saying the use of the space is good, bad, indifferent. I am pointing out an obvious fact. There is also the Mobley Building, which is directly adjacent, on the other side of the field to this. In the future, if we see that we need to use this space for Parks and Rec, we may want to consider the moving of this, and at that point, we would have to look at what the financing of that would be. But I think it is important for all of these things to be top of mind for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Colleagues, any other comments? Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez, you're recognized.
My comment will just be short and sweet, is Dr. Scott, not all superheroes have capes. So I think you heard from everybody. Thank you for all the work that you do in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, Commissioner Kaya?
Yep.
Yep.
I think that I'll be remiss if we, in the 3 years that most of us have been here, or Vice Mayor Corey a little bit longer, that we've always been a big supporter of what you're doing. We've offered help, pledge, sweat, whatever we can do to help out, to do better, to do more, whatever you guys need, if it's fixing up faucets, whatever it is, come, ask, let's get together, let's do more. I think you have what Commissioner Bonich was saying, is that you have an opportunity to do, you're doing great, obviously, you're doing fantastic, you're doing God's work. But we are here to help, I think the community's here to help, and I think if we all get together and chip in, we can do a little bit more. But obviously, you're doing an amazing job, and I'm so thankful for everything you do for the community, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. You're good? Okay, I'll save my remarks till after public remarks. With that, this is a public hearing item on second reading. Any member of the public who'd like to address this commission is welcome to do so at this time. I'm going to try and go back in the order of folks who I called previously but delayed their opportunity to speak. On this item, the first person, I believe, who waived their time was Mr. Kelly. So, Mr. Kelly, you're recognized. And then I have Ms. Sonia Stephen, who I believe is online, so I will call her next. So, Ms. Stephen, please be ready to address the commission. And then we will proceed to Erica Stanley, Lori Butler, and then anyone else who I do not have on the list.
Good afternoon, Levi Kelly, 6250 Southwest 60 Avenue. And I do pray for you guys aloud. I think you do a great job.
Thank you.
And I just want to give you some praise. Now, as it stands right now, I also pray every night for Dr. Scott and her operation. She's a good person. Never refused a call from me. I've made some unusual requests sometimes to help people that need help. So I'm heartened tonight to know that type of support she's getting out in the universe, and also the support she's gotten from this audience tonight. I think, as Commissioner Kaye said, we can do more. We just need to come together, put our heads together, and figure out what we can do. I just think that we need to have every opportunity to use the expertise, especially right now, what we have going on in this country with the false things about medicine that's out there. Vaccines in particular, as it comes to the black community. We're skeptics anyway when it comes to that. So anything that we got that can encourage people to get the kids vaccinated, I think is a good thing. And when they see somebody of light skin, as we do in terms of putting the trust in someone, then it can only help. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you for all the work that you do, you continue to do. I know sometimes you guys get yelled at, ladies, and that's part of the job, I guess. So I think you all got your armor on, so I just want to thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. Okay, Ms. Sonia Stevens, I had you next. If you could, I believe you're still online. If you can unmute yourself, you're recognized.
Good evening. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can, yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Sonia Steven, 8305 Southwest 72nd Avenue, Miami, Florida. I'm here because Dr. Scott, for my entire family, is more than an angel. She is a person who came into my life in 3 difficult moments. The first one was when my son, I had an emergency with my son, very small, no insurance, and she was there for us. And after that, I stayed with her because of her quality, not only as a doctor, but as a human being. She is a doctor that will be with you 24/7. Whenever we need her, she is there for us. It doesn't matter the time on the moment. The second moment when I needed her, I just expressed my concern when my son was going, his graduation was from high school last year, and I didn't know what to do to get him in college because college is very expensive. So she, as an angel, as I said, she helped us to apply to different scholarships, and my son did his way through all the rounds of the Posse Foundation. He got into college in California, which it's amazing for us as a family, and I thank Dr. Scott for that. She got involved in each moment of our lives. And the third one I just wanted to mention also is when my mom passed away at the end of last year. She was there for us. She came to us when we was devastated and helped us to open GoFundMe to have funds enough to bury my mom as how she deserved it. Gloria Stephen, an active person in South Miami community. So I'm here for her because South Miami Children's Clinic deserve a doctor like her, and also the city of Pleasant Living as South Miami. She is an asset for every kid in that area. So thank you so much for this opportunity to speak on behalf. My major, I don't know if my son can help, can speak because he is here with me from California at this moment, and he would like to say a few words. I don't know if it's possible.
Yes, that's okay. We'll just start the clock again for 3 minutes. But yeah,
Thank you so much.
No
I
problem.
really appreciate it. God bless everybody.
Hi, how are you? As someone that is heavily involved in the medical industry, I would like to, remark the importance of having such an outstanding individual in a community, especially a community that has faced a lot of adversity throughout the years. And I do believe that the work that she has done is outstanding throughout the years. And also, I would like to remark the importance of a children's clinic in a community, because nowadays you barely see children hospitals and clinics around. And as I've traveled throughout the U.S., you see less and less of that, and it's very sad because they're the future of a community, and it's important to have clinics that specialize on taking care of children, especially with doctors that are dedicated to caring for the future of those communities. It's essential, and it's a practice that has been lost, and this cannot happen in this community, and it will be very sad and disappointing if it were to be gone. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for your comments. I think next on the list, Erica Stanley. Stanley, you recognize? Thank you for your patience.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Dr. Scott has gone above and beyond. I call her my little oasis in the desert, especially in this time where there's so many challenges. I moved to South Miami in 2016 with 4 children and an empty apartment that I rent. Didn't know where to start, and somebody made the connection. She was the doctor for my kids until they age out. The last one, she's second generation Dr. Scott. So she's one of my daughter's kids. My son is here. And I just want to say that she has gone above and beyond. I heard somebody mention something about mental health. It's so important. I remember one of my daughters got committed to, for 2 times in one of the mental institutes. And Dr. Scott went above and beyond to ensure that she stay connected with her. It's somebody you can reach out to anytime. It's such a blessing, I would call it. And I wish I could put the lease on auto renewal, but I know that's not possible. But if it was possible, that we don't have to come and petition.
We would do it.
Yes,
we would do it.
yes,
Okay.
for sure. We wouldn't have to come and petition every 5 years, because without her, you've heard the testimonies, you've heard so many people speak. And she's impacted my life and my daughter, who is now an Eagle Scout. When she was doing her Eagle project, she went to New World School of the Arts, then she was going to New World. She did, I don't know if anybody knows the clinic, the painting on the wall. She did that, hand-painted that mural on the wall because she wanted to give back to somebody who gave to her. That was what she chose as our Eagle project. And I'm very grateful for her and the impact that she's played, the role she's played in my life, and also it's now extended to my grandchildren. So you've already said that you've approved the lease, and I'm grateful, and I thank everyone for coming out this evening and really just voicing how she and this clinic has impacted our life. So I didn't give my address. I'm a little further down the road now, off 64, but she's still the doctor for all of my children that are within the age for her to support from a pediatric point of view.
Thank you so much
you.
for coming out
All right?
tonight. Have a good evening. Okay, Lori Butler. Ms. Butler, good evening.
Hi, my name is Lori Butler. I live at 1101 Stanford Drive, Unit 129, Coral Gables 33146. Won't be that long. I'm presenting my testimonial in support of course, Dr. Scott in the South Miami Children's Clinic. And in 2016, I met Dr. Scott. I was searching for a pediatrician who was well connected with the local resources and other support for my then 3-year-old son who has autism and other comorbidities. And my husband and I were referred to Dr. Scott from a colleague at the University of Miami. And I was immediately impressed by her compassion and thoughtfulness, not only for my son, but also for us, asking how were we doing. And Dr. Scott's impact, it extends beyond our family. She was the voice of calm during the pandemic. She's also a trusted source of information for parents, providing important health reminders and education through mobile platforms and in-person events. During the pandemic, Dr. Scott was highly sought after, if you've watched on any network, and was able to have a further reach to viewers nationwide with her sound advice. She provides stellar health care with her holistic and sound medical approach, caring for both children and parents. Her heart is on call 24/7. And her medical expertise, empathy, and resourcefulness benefit the family she serves. She immediately responds when you have a concern. I have literally texted her, and I don't know if she really sleeps, but she responds very quickly. She puts on a number of community events and uses her own resources to provide gifts for children in the community during holidays. She's an asset to South Miami, as well as those families who are part of the University of Miami community. Dr. Scott is an extraordinary person who has inspired me personally and countless other families in the surrounding areas. And thank you for your approval.
Thank you for your testimony. We'll recognize now Ms. LaTanya Francis. Ms. Francis, good evening. You're recognized.
She put her hand down.
Ms. Francis, if you can unmute yourself.
Hi, technical difficulties.
No problem. Just if you can provide us your address for the record, we'd appreciate it.
Well, I'm coming on behalf of FIU. I don't live in South Miami,
That's
but
fine.
I work down there on regular.
That's good. That's good enough. Welcome back.
Okay. How you doing?
Good.
I'm just, again, I want to speak on behalf of Dr. Scott and just the clinic itself. Providing the quality care that she provides for the neighborhood, for the kids in the area. Some of the families are part of FIU, and we see the improvement from where they started to where they are now, whether it be health-wise, mentally, behavioral. They've all improved. They're not just there as patients. They're not just there as numbers. They're actually a part of a family. And I think she's continues to show the justice in the resources and the drive that she has to provide for the community. You have you do have other clinics in the area, but they don't provide the level of service that she provides. So I just wanted to make note of that she continues to strive, and FIU supports her in that because she does such a good job. I appreciate my time. You giving me the time to speak on her behalf.
You appreciate joining us again. Thank you so much, and thank you for your partnership with the clinic.
Thank you.
Recognizing Michelle Cherie. Michelle, if you could please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Good evening.
My name is Michelle Daniels. I reside at 5944 Southwest 64th Street, apartment 305. I worked for Dr. Scott for over 9 years. So I want to speak on the difference between the South Miami Children's Clinic and the other clinics that's in the community of South Miami. Not only did I work for her, I am born and raised in the community of South Miami. The difference between Dr. Scott and the other clinics is Dr. Scott goes beyond just being a pediatrician. She touches the total family. And I can guarantee you, she knows every patient name, by number, by phone, by address. She knows each and every one of them. Dr. Scott helped me not only with the job, but one of the things that she's done for me was help my son. My son went to South Miami Elementary, which is now South Miami K-8, and he suffered from reading disabilities. I have been going to the school, and she saw this because, like I said, I worked for her for over 9 years. I was the receptionist, and she saw what I was going through. My husband and I were going through. I'm trying to get him help. The school would not provide help. She offered legal services for some of the patients. I wasn't a patient at the time, but I worked for her, and she saw what I was going through, and she decided to go to the legal services and ask them if they would help me. And because of that, my son was able to get the services that he needed, which was an IEP. My son was retained 3 times and also had a late birthday. So the other clinics don't touch personal things. They probably don't. I use the other clinic, and I can guarantee you they probably don't remember me. She remembers every patient, whether they still go there or not. I watched her use her own finances to help feed families. The other clinics don't do that. I watched her pay for bills. I watched her pay for kids' school clothes. I watched her take from her family sometimes and take time from her family sometimes to make sure that she showed up for children because their parents couldn't go to certain events. She paid for one of her patients to go to school in New York once the grandmother passed away. The other clinics don't do that. So she's a big difference. She's a pillar of South Miami. I am born and raised in South Miami, and I know what people gave to South Miami. And I can tell you that she's given more than some of the people that are still there. She's concerned about the total family, not just if your child is sick, not if just if your child has asthma or whatever. When I couldn't afford to pay for my kids' medicine sometimes because my son suffers from severe allergies and asthma, sometimes she came out of pocket, although she was paying me. She came out of pocket and provided services for my family. My whole family, my entire family knows her. She showed up to my father-in-law's funeral when she didn't have to. So
Michelle,
difference
Michelle, I appreciate your comments. If I can ask you to wrap up here in the next 10 seconds, we appreciate
okay,
it.
the difference between her is she touches the total family, not just the patients. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you for your testimony. Okay, I see, and I'm going to butcher this name, and my apologies. Koalani M, online with a raised hand. If you'd like to unmute yourself, you're recognized.
Yes, good evening. Am I being heard?
Yes, you are.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Want to speak on behalf of the hot topic this evening.
If you could start with your full name, please, we'd appreciate it, and your
Yes.
address. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. Just so excited to be able to support Dr. Scott. My name is Kalani Mello, 1211 Walsh Avenue, Coral Gables 33146. So, yes.
Please proceed.
Just
Yep.
honestly wanted to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to the council for voting to renew the Children's Clinic in the city. To be honest, this decision means so much to a lot of the families around the area who depend on Dr. Scott, as previously stated in many of the testimonies. Her incredible team, from Griselda to the other inspiring lady who cleans up the clinic and ensures it's all sanitized and ready for us to be received and serviced. It's honestly not just for medical care, but she's there for the peace of mind that comes from just being seen, heard, and cared for, with true compassion. Even, touching the mom through postpartum. And I think that's very valuable, a topic that does not go spoken of very often. So honestly, she's just been more than a pediatrician to many of us. She's been a partner in my daughter's growth, a steady hand during illness. Countless times I've messaged her in panic as a first-time mom. And honestly, to me, she's just a trusted voice through some of, our challenging parenting moments. So her clinic represents the heart of, the community medicine. It speaks to just the inclusive work of accessibility, just personal, and her work is just deeply rooted in the well-being of our kids. So I just, wanted to thank you all for recognizing that value and for standing with the families who rely on her care and the extension of who she is through her staff as well. The council's support today ensures that our children continue to really have a safe, familiar place to turn to, and a place that truly reflects the spirit of the community in South Miami. So just again, thank you all for your time, your vote, and nevertheless, your belief in what local care can mean for our families through Dr. Scott and her team. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for your comments. I don't see anyone with a raised hand online. I do know Mr. McCants had want to speak. So what I'm going to ask Mr. McCants, and please come forward after. Anyone else in chambers who'd like to address, other than Dr. Scott, who'd like to address this commission on item 9? Please just go ahead and start making a line, and we'll hear you straight away. Mr. McCants, good evening.
It's not too much more that I can say, but really, isn't it good to know a saint? Really, it is. And I'm glad that she's hearing all these good things here, because a lot of the times, people wait till it's all over and then they say the good things, But it's true. I've witnessed a lot of things that she has gone through. I heard earlier about the automatic renewal.
Charter reform.
But seriously, the resources and the money that she's put out of her pocket, me too, and she's become a good friend of mine for this community, and the resources, and we worked on a lot of projects together. So we look forward to the additional resources that can become available for her in the future, and we thank you in advance for passing this, okay?
Thank you, sir.
I keep it short.
Appreciate it, yeah.
All right.
Anyone else who'd like to address this commission, please come forward. Come on down. Good evening.
Deborah Powell from 13921 Southwest 158th Street, and I was born, bred, raised, and all of that good stuff in South Miami. They basically was mostly said that some of the best speeches are brief and to the point and authentic. So all I'm going to say, I wholeheartedly agree with everything that was said earlier, and I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you. You are a true disciple of Ben Franklin. There you go. Good evening.
Good evening. Takara Ware. My address is 6701 Southwest 61st Street, apartment 309. I mean, I've watched everyone practically move to tears when we talked about Dr. Scott. Understand that there is a clinic, and I'm a product of South Miami. I grew up there, but when I came to Dr. Scott, I was a statistic, a single mom, and I was 19 years old. And now with her help and her leadership, her guidance, her support, her mentorship, I'm a different type of statistic. I'm a single mom, but I'm also almost a graduate of the University of Miami. So everything changes when you have somebody in your corner like that. So I just want to say, yes, we have clinics, we have Target, we have Walmart, we have Publix, we have Winn-Dixie. It's not the same care. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Let's wrap up public hearing and we'll open up again.
First time I see hearts out there.
Yeah,
First time I see hearts out there. It's pretty cool.
let's get through it. What do you mean no humanity today? Please go ahead. Be recognized.
Miss Ware, I just want to say your grandmother adores you, and the senior center, they love you there. They absolutely love you and talk about you all the time.
Thank you.
Carl, that was the first time I see hearts in the screen for us. First time I see hearts when you were speaking up there.
Guys, sorry, I'm gonna bring this home because we need to get through the meeting. We haven't gotten through. We're getting through our first action item, and there are other residents who have an item they want to speak on as well. So I want to be respectful of them as well here. Okay, it's not for a lack of love for Dr. Scott. So I'm going to take control back. Is there anyone else who'd like to address this commission as a public hearing item on the renewal of the lease? If so, please come forward. Seeing anyone online, Madam Clerk? Okay. With that, Dr. Scott, I'm going to recognize you to close out the public commentary, and then we will bring it back to the board for any final comments. I know. Please, ma'am, you're recognized.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm not sure how much more I can say. You've heard a lot from me on the last few commission meetings, but I just want to say how overwhelmed and grateful I am for the support that I received this evening, not only in person, but online through multiple email letters or messages that I'm sure you guys got today. And you know what you're seeing is really the culmination of over 18 years of my work at the clinic, way before you guys were on the commission. So everything that that people have said this evening is really the type of care that we give at this clinic. You are right that there are other clinics in the area, but I think access is more than just having a building. Access is actually being integrated in a community and recognizing what the challenges are and the barriers are of the patient population that you serve. And it's not just treating a symptom. And I kind of went through that at the last commission meeting about the difference with federally qualified health centers and what we do. And what we do is truly special because it is a similar demographic, but as someone mentioned before, it is concierge medicine. And who better, to give that type of care to than people who most need it, who are low income or who are uninsured or underinsured. That's the patient population who really deserves the highest quality medical care. So I guess I want to close and just say that I am so grateful to all of the commissions since I started at the clinic at 2007 for giving me the opportunity to serve this community. And I hope that I am able to continue for as long as you'll have me with the renewal of the lease this evening, and we'll see what happens in 5 years. The auto renewal would be great, but I want to just end on that and just thank you for your continued support, and I hope you vote to renew it.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Mr. Vice Mayor, I know you want to say a couple words.
Yes, originally I wasn't going to speak. Obviously, the overwhelming support speaks for itself, but I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Scott, for your leadership. There's really nothing more important than health, so I hope this renewal renews your energy to continue to be a pillar of support and health in our community. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, colleagues. Anyone else who'd like to say anything, or good? Yeah, go ahead.
Dr. Scott, you've redefined pediatrician to the ages of 25 now. So,
Thank you. Dr. Scott, just to close before we call the vote, first I want to recognize your partners in FIU and Baptist Health Systems and South Miami Hospital for being linchpin supporters of the clinic and bringing you to this community and allowing you to do the work that you do in such a unique way, right? Your story reminds me of the story of my first doctor, who was both a genius and a very gifted practitioner. He's a legend in the Cuban community, Dr. Agustin Castellanos. He's in the Nicholas Children's Hall of Fame. And the way I experienced medicine as a young child is probably, I just hearing the stories, it reminds me of him and how he interacted as a consummate clinician who cared about all the social determinants of health before that was really a thing that we talk about now socially. And I can tell that you practice medicine in exactly the same way. And from my perspective as a layperson who's experienced care on that level and reveres that person for the level of service he provided me as a very young person, and in many ways inspired me to be more than just an everyday person by his example as well and that interaction. I think what I've heard tonight just brings me back to that experience, and the highest compliment I could pay you as a doctor is to say that you're someone who reminds me of Dr. Castellanos in my own experience. And I think this is more than just a clinic, and if we didn't know that the day we got elected here, we certainly appreciate it more fully. It's really a community center where people have access to all sorts of resources, where care is not just about the health ailment, but about making sure the person has access to opportunity and every service that they are entitled to receive by virtue of being connected to this clinic. And you do an extraordinary job of connecting people to resources and gratefully accepting resources and expanding the clinic's mission. And again, that's a credit to you and your partners for having the vision to create this space. Whatever space we give you is not enough in terms of the hearts and minds that you touch every single day. I think you follow in a long tradition of great female leaders in this community. I see Dr. Joyce Price on the phone. Certainly you're someone who's walking in her shoes and filling that leadership need every day in the community. And again, Dr. Anna Price, Gail Alexander, who we lost recently, you are helping to fill the void that they left, that their loss has really left behind this community. And so this, to my mind, if I didn't appreciate it before, it's a sacred space for a really very quickly changing community that increasingly feels, in some ways, as from what I hear, more disconnected from the future of South Miami. And so hopefully by today's action, reaffirm that we are committed to this neighborhood and to this community and it being a vital part and essential part of what the future of South Miami will be in its greatest glory for all of us. So thank you for being a large part of not only our today, but of our future. And I'm excited to finally vote on this so we can move on to some other items as well. But just want to say thank you to you and your partners for the excellent care and service you're providing. And again, tonight's testimony is just witness to all of that. With that, Madam Clerk, if we can call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Bonige?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey?
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez?
Yes.
Item passes 5-0.
Thank you so much. Okay, I know we've got some members of the public here on two items. I think we can dispatch of one. That's a public hearing item, which is item 6, and then my intention is to go to items 4 and 5. So we can, I know there's some residents and the applicant here on that item as well. I would ask for the celebrations on this item, if we can take them outside the chamber, just so we can move on to the balance of the business this evening as quickly as possible. So Madam Clerk, if you can call item 6, please.
Item 4.
No, item 6,
Item
please.
6, okay. Item 6, an ordinance of the mayor and city commissioner of the city of South Miami, Florida, approving the conveyance of property located at 6179 Southwest 62nd Terrace, authorizing the manager to negotiate and execute an agreement for the conveyance, directing the city manager as to the use of proceeds derived from the conveyance.
Great, thank you. Mr. City Attorney, can you update us on the posture of the item, if there's been any changes?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. The item, you guys heard this on first reading about a month ago. The changes since that time were to remove, at your direction, we removed the direction to the city managers to how to apply those funds. So there is, that is no longer here. And just to remind you, this is for the greater of the offered purchase price and the appraised price. And it is set forth right now to convey the entire lot and a half, that is the city's, and that's what's before you.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions or comments on the current posture of the item? Okay. To the possible purchaser, any comments you'd like to add for the record?
No.
Okay. With that, we will open the public hearing on item 6, which is an ordinance approving the conveyance of a property located at 6179 Southwest 62nd Terrace. If there's any member of the public who'd like to come forward and address this item at this time, you are welcome to do so. If there's any member of the public who'd like to address this item online, please raise your virtual hand, and we will recognize you so we can hear your testimony. Okay. Seeing no one in the chamber and no one online, we will close the public hearing. Colleagues, any final comments? Mr. City Attorney, Madam City Attorney, anything you need to add for the record? I see you. Okay, thank you. Seeing nothing on the dais, Madam Clerk, then, if you can call the roll, please.
Can I get a motion?
Sorry, I need a motion to approve or deny item 6. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Bonich to approve and a second by the Vice Mayor. Okay, Madam Clerk, now if you could call the roll, please. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Bonich,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes,
Item passes 5-0.
thank you so much.
No.
We did not move the item for the Health Center. Okay, so let's reconsider. Thank you, we've approved this item.
Thank you very much.
We will reconsider item 9 on an ordinance.
Okay.
All the kumbaya, we forgot to have a motion.
I know, I was like, all of a sudden I was like, wait a second.
No, we did not. Is there someone who'd like to move the adoption of ordinance number 9?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Rodriguez. Thank you, Commissioner Bonich, for that. And a second by Commissioner Bonich. Madam Clerk, if we can now call the roll, please.
Okay, Commissioner Bonich,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye.
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey.
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
It does pass.
Talk about anticlimactic. There you go. Okay. Okay, let's take items 4 and 5. They are companion items. Madam Clerk, if you can read the items, and then we'll hear the appropriate warnings from the city attorney.
Yes. Item 4, a resolution of the mayor and city commissioner of the city of South Miami, Florida, approving or denying a special exception application pursuant to section 20-8.7 of the City of South Miami Land Development Code for a large-scale development project for a mixed-use medical office building with residential dwelling units known as Med Square on the entire city block located on the west side of Southwest 62nd Avenue between Southwest 68th Street and Southwest 69th Street.
Thank
Should I
you,
read
Mayor.
item 5 or no?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. No, let's read item 5 as well. So we're going to have the public hearing on both. Go ahead.
Okay, item 5, a resolution of the mayor and city commissioner of the city of South Miami, Florida, approving a development agreement with South Miami Real Estate Partners LLC for a mixed-use medical office building with residential dwelling units known as Med Square on the entire city block located on the west side of Southwest 62nd Avenue between Southwest 68th Street and Southwest 69th Street pursuant to section 20-8.7 of the Land Development Code, authorizing the city manager to execute the development agreement.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. City Attorney, item 4 is quasi judicial. If you could provide us with the appropriate warning.
Thank you, Mayor. Items number 4 and 5 on your agenda, seek approval of companion items for a project known as Med Square. The items involve a large-scale development special exception, that's item 4, and a development agreement. under Section 20-8.7 of the city's Land Development Code. That's item 5. The first one, item 4, the special exception, is quasi-judicial. The second item, the resolution for the development agreement, is not. It is legislative, or at best, a quasi-legislative item. It is nevertheless a public hearing under Section 20-8.7. The same public hearing can serve for both items if you'd like to hear them together. So in an abundance of caution, in order to afford the most due process possible to all parties, and without waiving the city's position that the resolution on the development agreement is in fact legislative in nature, the city will frame tonight's hearing within the city's quasi-judicial procedures with respect to presentations by staff, the applicant, and public comment. Public hearing will include presentations by staff and the applicant and public comment. The commission may ask any questions either before or after public comment is closed. Following public comment, the commission may deliberate on 2 items. The quasi-judicial procedures require this commission to consider the evidence presented to it and base your decision on the applicable law and primarily on the evidence presented, whether by the applicant, staff, or members of the public. The evidence considered must be substantial, competent evidence. This means testimony or other evidence based on personal observation or relevant expert testimony that a reasonable mind would accept as adequate to support a conclusion. It is not a popularity contest. It cannot be based solely on non-expert opinions, no matter how fervent those opinions might be. Anyone who seeks to speak on the item should be given an opportunity to speak during the public comment portion of each hearing. If you intend to provide testimony as to this item, you should be sworn in before your testimony is taken. Please know if you do speak, you may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse either to be cross-examined or to be sworn, your testimony will be considered in that context and given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the commission to direct questions on their behalf to either staff or the applicant. At this time, anyone who wishes to speak should be sworn in. I'd ask that you please stand and raise your right hand if you plan on speaking. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you confirm compliance with the advertising and notice requirements for this hearing?
Yes.
And then the last item, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, have any of you had any ex parte communications with the applicant or any member of the public, either for or against either of these 2 items?
Let's just go left to right.
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
My only communication was on a deferral request related to item 5.
No.
No.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we will proceed initially with staff's presentation of their recommendation, followed by presentation by the applicant, and then we will open up the floor for public remarks. So that will be the sequence of events. Mr. Oh my God, I just blanked on your name. I'm sorry, Mark.
Alvarez.
Mark Alvarez, thank you.
Um,
Had a senior moment on TV. There we go. Thank you.
On
Mr. Alvarez,
behalf-
I know. It's been, we've missed you around here. Sorry. Mark, it's good to see you. Good evening.
Thank you. Good to be back here. Mark Alvarez with the Cordino Group on behalf of the city planning staff. We have reviewed this proposal. It's a large-scale special exception. We've reviewed it for quite a number of iterations, and we are here with our final review. It was, the project was, it just had some changes after the planning board, I believe, and we are analyzing it based on those revisions. So I do have a presentation. I want to go through this a little bit because it's important, I think, that we go through this. This is really the first project that we're seeing with the TSDD, so I do want to go through this more carefully because it's a code that we're not used to working with at this point. The location of this project is an entire block. It's on the west side of Southwest 62nd Avenue. It's a vacant block with the exception of 2 houses. There are 6 folios. Altogether, it's 1.63 acres. The FLUME designation, the future land use map designation, is the Transit Supportive District the Transit Supportive Development area. And the zoning designation is the Transit Supportive Development District. The TSDD, as we call it, had subzones. This subzone is called the TSNA, or the Transit Supportive Neighborhood Area. It's the transitional subzone. When we were spending a year writing the TSDD, we decided that all along the edge of the downtown, we would have a transitional zoning for those blocks. And this is in one of those blocks. The neighborhood around it is a transitional area. To the east, of course, is 62nd Avenue, and across the street would be, right now, Lee Park condominiums, but it is also zoned as TSDD for a higher development area. To the north is is a low-scale commercial, it's zoned neighborhood residential. It's where the newspaper building is and several other buildings going north along there. To the south is also a half-vacant parcel, and to the south of that parcel is a four-story office building. And then to the west, and that's what makes this a transitional area, we have a single-family neighborhood. So this is something we paid a lot of attention to and made some special regulations for when we were doing the zoning for the TSDD. As far as compatibility, before getting into the actual regulations, one of the things that we had provided for in the zoning was that all of these blocks on the edge would have a mixed-use building of whatever it was proposed, but along the last 75 feet facing the neighborhood, we would actually transition into a residential use, which would be townhouse use. So it would transition not only in height and scale but also in the use, so that no one on the edge of the downtowns would have to face commercial uses from their home. They would face residential uses that also function because they're not apartments. They have their doors on the street, they have their driveways on the street, or they can have their driveways in the rear too. But whatever it is, they are functioning like a single-family home. They're just a little taller and they create that transition. Excuse me. I'm going to go on with some of the regulations. One of the things I want to show actually, and it's very hard to see, this is from the applicant's proposal. The first is the rendering, on the right is the rendering of the townhouse units. They're 2 stories. They work sort of like duplexes with an entrance on the lower floor and a garage door on the lower floor, and then they have the 2 stories above it. These are sort of connected, and they're, as proposed, they are like duplexes with some space in the middle of them, in between each of them. There are 8, and they are under the density that would be required for what we have there, well under the density. One of the things I wanted to show was to provide a sense of scale. It's a little hard to see, but when you look at the bottom picture, you'll see the building that's being proposed, and to its south, the buildings as we go down 62nd Avenue, but behind it it's just a sort of white block, and it's very hard, but these are the buildings that when we look across Sunset, and even on Sunset, these are the buildings that we have that are part of our downtown. They're much higher, they're much bulkier, they're quite massive. They are 2 blocks away, but that's what we're trying to create some transitions to in the future, and this is the first block where we're using the code to do that. I'm going to go, so what we do when we analyze this, we go through the code section by section, and we check each section to make sure that it's compliant, and the word consistency means compliant. We have a code, and I told you we have different sub-districts in the code, and that sort of peach or salmon color. Pink is all of the transitional areas. Those are the TSNA, the Transit Supportive Neighborhood Areas. All of those are down to 6 stories. They are residential. What we have on this block is the block was split. We have the TSNA in the back or on the west side facing the neighborhood, and because of 62nd Avenue and it facing something much more intense on the west side, we left that as a mixed-use area because we wanted mixed use on 62nd Avenue. But we wanted residential use immediately behind that, so that 62nd Court and the residents that are there face a residential use. That's much more in scale. So as far as the uses goes, this is a permitted use. It's going to be a medical office. We look at it more simply as an office, but it is a medical office. And in the code, professional offices encompasses medical offices as well. On the back, I'm going to say on the west side of it, where the townhomes are, this again is exactly what we wanted, and this is consistent with the uses on the west side of the property. Which proposed are 8 townhomes, and they're at 14.6, actually we allow 14.68 units to the acre, and right now they are at 4.92. So they're well under the density. The applicant has proposed having a little more space than we allow because they were concerned about the transition. As far as parking and loading, this is I understand it'll be a pediatric medical office. And as a business matter and in their pro forma, the the applicant has decided to provide much more parking than we require. So we require, I'm going to go to this so I can read it better. Excuse me. We require 153 spaces. We have a very conservative parking requirement for the transit supportive downtown because it is transit supportive and walkable. But again, their pro forma show that they would need much more parking to make the building work well for medical offices. And they're at 353 spaces. So it's well overparked. We have no problem with parking. Also on bicycle parking, they have provided more than adequate bicycle parking. We would require 17 publicly accessible parking spaces, or bicycle rack spaces, and provided are 23. As you look at the drawing, those were located, we want those located where they're protected from the weather, but still near a doorway to the building. And they are on the interior drive of the building, so when you look through the center in a north-south orientation, sort of the center there where it says, it actually says bike spaces. The two areas where there's blue rectangles around, or where those are located, they are right near the sort of back door into the lobby. We also have delivery also located there. We also have the car sharing and Uber Eats, and all those deliveries are at the interior to the building, so they wouldn't have to stop on the street, and they're right near the lobby door. And finally, we do also have the trash pickup located interior to the building. So as far as the parking and loading, we have everything that we had asked for in the code. We have a street hierarchy where we do different things based on what is going on in the street. And one of the things that we did in the TSDD, as we went through this process, we wanted to have wider sidewalks. And so we created a requirement throughout the entire TSD, the whole downtown, for dedicating 5 feet. We wanted dedications and not setbacks because we don't want a hedgerow in front of the building. We want an actual downtown where people walk up to the windows, to the retail windows. They're walking right there. And still, we wanted a very wide sidewalk without ever changing the curb line. One of the things that in this project, the proposal includes on the north and south sides of the building, 68th Street and 69th Street, they would provide that dedication of 5 feet. On the west side, on the neighborhood side, it's not necessary because that's not a TSDD street. On the east side of it, which is 62nd Avenue, it was really at staff's request that we did not want to accept a dedication. And the reason for that is because that's a county road. If they dedicate the property, it goes to the county, and we lose control over what we want to do on the sidewalk, which is exactly what we don't want. So instead, we are accepting an easement there. There are no encroachments, and with the easement, we can still ask for all the things that we want on that sidewalk. So that's the one exception. We'll probably be doing that more consistently on county and state roads. The project more than meets the open space. It has more open space than is required. It's linear open space because, again, it's urban. We don't have plazas on this, but we have a requirement that we would accept linear open space. There are some little corners at the corners of 62nd Avenue and 68th and 69th. They're just notches. They're just smaller spaces that help create a little more open space. They also work with the building because one of the things we had asked for, I'll get to that later, was to have a lot of movement in the surface of the building and not have big flat walls. So and there are more than enough trees, both for street trees and for the on-site trees. And it includes both the townhouse and the office building. Trees will be spaced 25 feet apart. So again, all the requirements are met, and actually this project has exceeded it to some extent. As far as building height goes, the office building, I should say, is actually lower than is required. We allow 6 stories, and I cannot read it anymore, I just lost this thing. Wait a minute. We require, we require 94 feet total maximum, and this building comes in at 84 feet, so it is a little lower. It's still 6 stories. Also on the townhouse side, while we provide that Those townhouses could be 3 stories and 40 feet tall. These townhouses are proposed at 2 stories and just under 19 feet, 4 inches. So again, it is actually smaller in every way, and being smaller, it has a little more capability for compatibility with the neighborhood behind it. And the map on the right of there is actually the height plan from the TSDD. And again, what you see is not only with the different sub-areas, you see how the height transitions. And all those areas with that yellow crosshatch on the light blue are the areas where we have the 3-story townhouses. We had extra transition into the code. But these light blue areas are the 6-story. As far as the building location, massing, and form, again, the proposal is consistent with all of the requirements or exceeds some of them, in other words, does better than them. One thing I want to talk about, though, and it's where all the red boxes are, is the incorporated in the building massing and form, we have 2 floors on the top that are offices that are larger than our floor plate would allow for a building in the TSDD. And I want to explain a little bit of that because one of the things, and I know you were all here as we went through the code, we thought a lot about the size of buildings. We have not on this block, but we had a lot of high buildings that would be allowed in the TSD, 14 and 18-story buildings. And we were very aware of the concept of bulk of those buildings. So if they're that tall and they're very large in width or depth, they become very unattractive. So we struggled with a lot of concepts about the frontages and how to, whether we would do birthday cakes. What we ended up coming up with was a floor plate maximum of 20,000 square feet. When we were doing that, and part as we made these rules, we also decided that we would include a way around that with not going to a variance, and that would be the waiver. And I'm going to get to that in the next page. But the idea of the waiver was we recognized at that time that 20,000 square feet would not work for every site, particularly sites where there were some unusual circumstances, either in the shape of the block or because on this block where we have a 6-story limit, and it's a smaller block in that it has to have townhouses on one side of it, and so we have a relatively small building. So this is hard to read. Sorry for the light type, but I'll go through this. We have a number of criteria to meet for a waiver. So the applicant has requested a waiver. And the waiver that we use is not like a variance. It does not require a hardship. It requires, excuse me, a practical difficulty. And practical difficulty means that there's something in the site that does cause a difficulty, but we weigh it kind of to balance the needs of the property. So we have a viable development and balance the needs of the community and the compatibility with the TSDD. So we have a few things that we had to look at, that the deviation would be compatible with the TSDD. We don't find that the building is really out of scale in having those 2 floors being the same as the floors under it. They're no larger than the garage parking under it. They're no larger than the first floor. It's just a 6-story building that's relatively well scaled. And as such, we really meet the intent and the character of the TSDD. We also find that there's no substantial detriment to the surrounding area. Again, the applicant has provided shadow studies. There are no shadow impacts. We have a building that's lower than it needs to be, already in the lowest transitional area for the TSDD. It's not a large building. It doesn't go through for the whole property. In fact, the townhouses could have been a little shorter, but this property is more constrained on just what it needs to have. And it simply makes sense. If we broke up, I'm going to actually go back, I think, to, if we were to break up the top diagram, the top elevation is the front of the building. If we were to break that up into 2 pieces, which was what we would have to do to follow the code without the waiver, we would break that into 2 pieces about where the lobby goes up to the center. It doesn't provide us with a building that's any better for compatibility purposes than to leave it connected. And of course, obviously, it's much more viable as a building where the elevator shafts come through the middle, and we have a normal office building with approximately 35,000 square foot floor plate. So on that criteria, again, we found that it meets the requirements of the waiver. It does do substantial justice to the property owner and the buildings around it. That's the whole idea of kind of weighing the benefits on both sides. We still have a building that's as compatible as it would be if we followed the code exactly, and we also provide a viable development for an office use. Lastly, there are unique circumstances, and again, I mentioned this really because this is the lowest height district for the TSDD, and these blocks are fairly small to begin with relative to other blocks in the downtown, but also they're constrained by the need to have the townhouses on the back. We have a fairly small floor plate to work with. So we recognized all this. And again, going back, the whole idea of the waiver was because we recognized in working with an entire downtown, we had to create rules that were fairly generic, and would impact properties differently. The waiver does require commission approval along with the large-scale special exception, so it is actually up to you in the end to take our recommendation or not. And then finally, architectural standards. Architecture is a big issue for us, and we struggled a lot when we were writing the code because we did not want to have a vernacular. We did not want to say it would be coastal or Mediterranean, or we wanted something that was eclectic, but we had to then have a lot of difficulty writing the rules. So we have rules that require a lot of movement in the building, both vertically and horizontally. And we find this in this building. You see there's the materiality, the use of the screens on the garage, the fenestration and the way the windows are different. The top two floors kind of state what they are. The other floors have a difference. And then instead of going straight across, we had all these material variations, and the building also moves slightly 3 feet in and out as it goes across the frontage. So we found this to be very satisfactory as far as the architectural standards go. I believe for LEEDs, they will be applying for a LEEDs designation as well. And then finally, we had a development review committee, as well as we looked at traffic impacts. We had their traffic engineer's impact statement, or analysis, I should say, reviewed by the city's engineer, and we had no problems with their methodologies or data that they used. I will want to mention, always remember that we're in a transportation concurrency exception area. So we look at the level of service, we always measure it, but we don't deny any proposals because we exceed some level of service. Most of our roads are above capacity. In this case, there's nothing that goes over the accepted level of service on 62nd Avenue or Sunset. They looked at 6 intersections. I think there's a little bit worse of a condition at the Sunset and 62nd, and we already experienced delays there, and some of that is from construction as well. During the development review committee, we did come up with a few issues. We talked a lot and had them make some adjustments for the trash pickup. That's more of an operational one, and is included in the development agreement. Because we noted that the trash pickup would be very near the ramp to go upstairs with your cars, so they will agree to not have that during business hours. And then lastly, we addressed the issue of the displaced parking spaces. That's also in the development ordinance. I know that's an ordinance that's still in process. We did address that with them, and I think that's been incorporated. There's 8 spaces that are lost. Yes, and we did address that, and again, that is something in the development agreement because it's not actually an ordinance yet. And with that, we do recommend it for all the reasons I said. We think it's a very compatible project. It is one of the first projects in the TSDD that would seek approval. It's in the transitional area. The application does everything that we wanted it to do in the transitional area. Townhouses, the scaling, the massing, even the architectural treatment is very, contributes greatly to reducing the mass of the building. So we do recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Colleagues, any questions of Mr. Alvarez? Okay, you're recognized.
Seeing the issues that we've had in other buildings that abut residential with garbage pickup, what are we looking at? Because I see you're saying outside of business hours, but we've got an issue on, on 64th Street where the trash is being picked up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's a constant problem. So does that get addressed specifically in the development agreement where it's saying when that trash will be picked up? Because we don't want to add another area where we continue to have that problem.
And before you answer, I want to build on that question because it's exactly my only issue with the site plan that I see. I see the conflict with the up ramp and where the trash and recycling enclosure is. And I just would love to hear, Mr. Alvarez, whether there's not another more appropriate location for that enclosure to be located. And I was thinking specifically south of the loading area where there are some tandem parking spaces located, so that if it's going to happen in after hours or outside of business hours, it's happening at the center of the building, and that way the noise that is attendant with after hours pickup is happening within the structure and not impacting potentially adjacent properties as a result. So just let me get some thoughts. Maybe that's a question we also have the applicant address, but wanted to get your perspective since it seems like it was discussed.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a question related to trash pickup? No? Okay.
Okay. Just to answer your, at a staff level, I think that would be an improvement, and we would have no problem with that. It's really up to the applicant. And I do want to add one other thing that came up in the the Development Review Committee. The trash pickup for the townhouses would be the city, and the trash pickup for the commercial building would be private provider.
Okay. So I guess to the applicant, if you can address that concern, we would appreciate hearing more during the presentation. Any further questions for Mr. Alvarez?
I do.
You do? Yes. Commissioner Gallo, you're recognized.
Thanks. Thank you, Mayor. You specified that there was more parking spots that were being allocated more than requirement. What was that number again?
I think it was 353.
Now, leaving the parking, I'm assuming it's coming down off the south side of the building?
It come either side.
So you go on the other side?
Right, the aisle goes through the building.
Goes all the way through?
Yeah.
And this is all mostly offices, so we'll see an abundance of traffic morning and afternoon. What can we do to minimize the traffic allocation moving inside the residential neighborhood so we can force more of it down 62nd Avenue and away from the residential area? Is that something that is feasible?
We anticipate that, of course, most of it will come from 62nd, from the east side, that neighborhood traffic.
So, Mr. Alvarez, I think just to build on the commissioner's question, for example, in terms of the treatment of the curb on 69th Street and on 70th,
Right.
are there some design features that can be incorporated to force a right turn egress onto 68th only and a left turn egress onto 69th Street only, exiting the property, for example?
Again, that could be done. We would consider it an improvement. And my second sentence was about the necking down of the.
Of necking down the street.
69th
Yeah,
Street.
necking down, yeah.
Provide that announcement that you're coming into a neighborhood.
Yeah, we can have the ownership just look at that particular aspect. I really don't want to have calls with an abundance of traffic going in through the neighborhood. I know it's going to get increased a little bit, but we should try to minimize that as much as we can in the residential area.
Further questions of Mr. Alvarez? Yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
Building on what Commissioner Kaya just said, we need to also keep in mind 68th Street is really one of the only ones that allows us to go through. Am I correct? If you're on 62nd, you can turn left onto 68th Street. If not, you're stuck all the way to 64. So that acts now as kind of a relief valve for 64th Street. So I don't see how we can't make it so you can't go into that neighborhood. I understand what you're saying, Commissioner Kaya is saying, when you're leaving the garage, you can only turn, right this way and left that way. But we need to keep in mind that people coming from 62nd Avenue still need to get through there.
Yeah, what I was suggesting by way of a design feature would that movement wouldn't be impaired, but what you would have is that cross-section could have like a design element that would make the left turn not possible. Or certainly have signage saying that egress from the building on the 68th is right turn only.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Further questions, Mr. Alvarez, or do we want to hear from the applicant? Okay, thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Is council presenting for the applicant, or? Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Good evening once again. Alejandro Arias, offices at 701 Brickell Avenue. I'm joined this evening by my colleague, Alessandria San Roman, as well as the project architect, Ivo Fernandez from Modus Architects, and our traffic engineers from David Plummer and Associates. We're also joined by project principal, Alberto Perez, and we are here to answer any questions you may have. We're grateful for the opportunity to be before you this evening and excited to be bringing this transformational project before this commission. We're also thankful to have staff's favorable recommendation of this proposal, as well as recommendations of approval from the Design Review Board and Planning Board. The subject property encompasses an entire city block between Southwest 68th Street to the north, Southwest 69th Street to the south, Southwest 62nd Avenue to the east, and Southwest 62nd Court to the west, and comprises approximately 1.63 acres. The property fronts on Southwest 62nd Avenue, a major city thoroughfare, and is generally unimproved with 2 existing residential structures situated on 6 contiguous parcels. A residential subdivision is situated to the west of the property with existing 4-story and 7-story offices located to the south as you head towards South Miami Hospital. Larkin Hospital is also located to the east of property across Southwest 62nd Avenue. As such, the property is situated within close proximity of major healthcare, employment centers, office, and residential uses varying from low to high densities. As referenced by Mr. Alvarez, the property was recently included as part of the significant city-initiated future land use map and zoning atlas amendments, which redesignated the property as Transit Supportive Development District, the TSDD. The subject property of this application is within the Transit Supportive Development Area on the eastern part of the block and the Transit Neighborhood Supportive Area on the western part of the block. The Transit Supportive Development Area allows for a maximum density of 150 dwelling units per acre and a maximum height of 6 stories, 84 feet. The Transit Neighborhood Supportive Area allows for a maximum density of 100 dwelling units per acre and a maximum height of 3 stories, 40 feet. So to put that into context, if this was a residential development, you would have an approximate unit count of up to 211 dwelling units on the site. Additionally, the TSDD on this property serves to further restrict height and density, requiring a residential buffer facing the neighborhood across from Southwest 62nd Court. In connection with the proposed development program and the special exception request, the applicant is proposing the development of a first-class horizontal mixed-use development encompassing a 6-story, 81,910 square foot medical office building fronting on Southwest 62nd Avenue. This is an as-of-right use permitted under the Transit Supportive Development Area. The applicant is also proposing 8 2-story townhome units on the western perimeter of the property line, fronting on Southwest 62nd Court, which will serve to provide appropriate height transition and buffer between the medical office building and the residential homes across Southwest 62nd Court. It should be noted that when the project was first proposed, the development program provided for 12 3-story townhomes, and the applicant scaled back that proposal in an effort to strengthen the character and quiet enjoyment of the neighborhood. Now, the proposed medical office building will encompass an internalized dedicated patient drop-off area to prevent any offloading or disruptions to the city street networks. All uses will be internalized, and we are certainly open to relocating that garbage collection pickup area. As referenced for the townhouse product, city garbage collection will be undertaken. For this particular office, that will be a private provider, and the management company has ensured that those collections will occur after business hours. The medical office building will include 4 levels of parking garage, a project element that is in the best interest of the city, and office floor plates on the 5th and 6th floors. So it'll have on the 5th and 6th floors, 2 office floor plates of 35,475 square feet. Additionally, the overall project will also provide off-street parking spaces well in excess of the city code, 200 excess parking spaces to be exact, where 353 spaces are provided, where 153 are required. This is one of those rare cases where instead of further enriching himself by creating more profitable square footage based on 200 parking spaces, that can possibly be another floor of usable square footage for medical office spaces. This particular applicant has chosen to provide excess parking based on the demand and his expertise of medical office product to really provide 200 parking spaces that cannot be monetized. Anyone here knows that parking spaces are very costly to develop, and yet there's no profit generated from that. So again, this is a rare instance where he's foregoing an entirely another opportunity to build a floor of profitable space and square footage to provide that excess parking. The project will also provide ample lush landscaping to not only complement the proposed project, but to further enhance the surrounding area and provide sufficient buffers where appropriate. As referenced and as part of the application process, the applicant conducted a traffic study to analyze existing and proposed impacts to the area. As shown in the traffic study, the overall level of service for all intersections currently operate and will continue to operate within the city's adopted levels of standards. Furthermore, we are recommending signal timing modifications on the northbound and southbound approaches of the Southwest 62nd Avenue and Southwest 72nd Street intersections. And lastly, this project is uniquely situated in an area currently served by public transportation. More specifically, it's located within walking distance to South Miami Metro Rail Station. The project's also located in an area with ample sidewalks, crosswalks, shared roadways, facilitating pedestrian activity to nearby retail, restaurants, and recreational facilities. Now, the mission of the applicant in this project is to bring life to healthcare real estate by enhancing the patient and tenant experience, from the quality of care received, to the work environment, to the common gathering spaces. This applicant has built world-class medical office spaces incorporating beautiful architecture, urban design elements, and high-end materials, such as these illustrated here, with several more in the pipeline. MedSquare Health, located near Baptist Hospital on Southwest 87th Avenue, is considered to be one of the largest non-hospital affiliated medical office buildings in the Tri-County area. Similar to the built environment, the proposed MedSquare South Miami project will continue its mission to transform and enhance this community. On the screen are a few renderings of the proposed project. As referenced by Mr. Alvarez, we can see here the building and the movement of the building, the fenestration of the architecture. We have renderings here of the buffering, scaling down to the townhome product, some of the amenities of the townhome product, as well as the rear of the medical office building. This is a view from 62nd Avenue of the front of the medical office building. And these are some of the corner accents and pedestrian nooks that are provided at each intersection along Southwest 62nd Avenue. Now, as staff stated in their favorable recommendation, the proposed application is consistent with the TSDD requirements and the vision, and adheres to the intent of the zoning district. Additionally, and as staff has recognized, office development of 6 stories or less, in combination with the 75-foot residential buffer condition that's required, requires larger horizontal dimensions, including floor plate area. As such, a waiver is being requested as it relates to the maximum floor plates allowed above the 4th floor. I would remind you again that the first 4 floors are parking, so the 5th and 6th floors are the ones that are going to be 35,475 square feet. Pursuant to this request, staff has determined that the waiver does not contribute to or cause a building that is out of scale, the vision of the TSDD. The office floor plates are no larger than the garage and ground floor plates below, and serves to provide the surplus parking through floors 1 through 4, which provides a benefit and necessitates consolidation of office space on 2 of the same floor plates as the garage floor plates below. As stated in the May 2025 staff review comments, this application adheres to the intent of the TSDD zoning district with a proposal that meets all requirements and are supportive of the required waivers. With that, I thank you for your time and request your approval of this item, the first TSDD project in the city. Along with the design professionals present this evening, I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Colleagues, questions? Again, no, there's plenty. We'll have plenty of comments. Commissioner, you're recognized. Thank you.
Thank you. On those nooks that you have on the ground level, I see you have benches. You need to ensure that those benches are not benches you can lay down on, so that we don't encourage people sleeping.
They'll have the
at your
circular
podium.
balls on them to prevent
Okay. Thank you.
Further comments or questions? Yes, sir, you're recognized.
Hi. I did, thank you for your presentation, by the way. I did see in some of the plans some tree movement and removal. I was just wondering if you could go over that a little bit more, because I did notice it was very interesting. So if you could just share for the public.
On the landscaping plan?
Yes.
So the goal here, as with all of the other medical office projects that this applicant has been developed, is to preserve and enhance the landscape to the best way possible. When they actually developed the Kendall Med Square project, they created an on-site nursery to preserve as many trees as could be preserved at the time, and then re-implemented them into the project. So the commitment here is to preserve whatever we can preserve on-site, implement that throughout the site. But again, this is a urban linear type landscape project. So along 62nd Avenue, there will be shade trees and cover provided, and then significant landscaping as we get to the residential component and those townhome product types.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Harris, just on that point, is the illustration in front of us kind of led me to conclude maybe something else. Are those palm trees on 62nd and on the edge of the swale on the Western Avenue? I forget the number.
62nd Court?
62nd Court, thank you. Because I could not find, I don't think there was a landscape plan sheet in our submittal.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I know in the Kendall 87th Avenue, I pass by it every day. It's a beautiful product, but it has oaks. It's beautiful. I think that's something what we want to conserve and understand is that we want mature trees here. So, I think that's what the question is.
That's the intent of the
Yeah,
question.
we're
The product on
trans-
87th Avenue is a really nice
We're
product.
transplanting all the live oaks, and then these are not palm trees. From what I'm seeing here, we have green buttonwood trees, Bahama, excuse me for this one, Tabuiba trees, bridal veil trees, and orange Geiger trees.
Yeah, so just on the species, again, if you can work with staff to figure out if we can do some substitutions that provide a little bit more canopy. What we're really trying to do along the right of way is make sure it's shaded so it's walkable. And I love bridal veil trees, but the canopy is very porous, so it provides very little relief from the sun. And so as you think about those edges, particularly along the rights of way, I don't know if you can work with them on modifying those selections and making sure that they provide a denser canopy so we actually shade the sidewalks. Certainly that would be my preference if if my colleagues agree with the modified condition.
And we're certainly open to that.
Further questions?
No, just the comment as far as I agree with you on the trees. And again, the product as Commissioner Cayo was saying, the product on 87th Avenue has extensive amount of canopy, and the trees, actually what I like about it is that the trees have grown to where they just about almost cover the building.
Colleagues, I know we talked, we have the applicant here. We had suggested the design elements on 68th and 69th. Any objection to trying to make those single turn movements on the northern section, a right turn movement on the southern section,
No
limiting to a
objection at
left turn
all.
out?
It
Okay.
was actually a comment that was brought up during the planning board
Okay.
review phase by one of the neighbors. We actually considered it to be a good idea. So if there's something that we can work through and try to get there, we're absolutely open.
So, Mr. City Attorney, I don't know if we need to modify a condition to reflect that. That would be helpful. And then on the trash,
Yeah.
to the city attorney, I know per our code, because we've all dealt with this issue next to the Family Dollar, or at the Family Dollar, and the poor neighbor who suffers through the pickups at 5 o'clock in the morning. I know our commercial code with the commercial haulers limits their hours to a prescribed time. Do you know what that is?
I believe it's 7 a.m., I believe.
Is the earliest and what time, but what time is the latest
The
time that they can
latest,
pick up?
I'll look it up.
So because why I appreciate the proffer to do it after hours, we may have a limitation of code on what our haulers are allowed to do per their licensing requirements. So I don't want to set us up to authorize that and put them in conflict with that code provision. They don't follow it, yeah. And while we're waiting for that answer, just to understand, is it possible to relocate the trash collection area from the northern edge to somewhere closer to the center of the project?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.,
Okay.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's
Okay.
their window.
Okay.
Right.
I think they're, I'll get you.
No, it's to you, the question.
Sure, you have a question?
Yeah, to you, to the mayor, why in the middle of, you don't think in the middle will cause more congestion in the building, and rather than leaving it where it is, as long as it's done at a good hour, rather than?
I think the question is, if we're doing it outside of business hours, typically their use is going to operate, I would imagine, 8 to 6, typically. And, yeah, if you want to come up, yeah.
Good evening, Alberto Perez, owner, developer. Usually our hours of operation for these medical buildings are typically between 7:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. thereabouts. Part of our rules and regulations for all our buildings, we try to set the hours of pickup as best we can. In this case in particular, since it could be a private provider, we could probably control it a bit more. Sometimes when we're at the mercy of the city vendor, et cetera, it's tough to control it. But in this case in particular, since we are in charge of who we can bring on, we have a little bit more control of that. And again, it will be part of our rules and regulation. Regarding the comment regarding shifting it more to the center of the building, ultimately, we don't want it to be lined up with the back entry of the main lobby. But in working with our architect, Ivo Fernandez at Modus, there could be a way for us to shift that even more internalized into the building. As you know, all the services are internalized currently, but we feel based on what we're working on now, that there's a very high probability that we could shift it a little bit more internalized at your request, and it still work with the overall flow of that.
Yeah, I obviously don't want people walking out the rear lobby and to the,
Yeah.
to the trash reception area, but if it's, I see you have loading a little bit offset to the south, if it could be located, maybe you switch some of the tandem parking for that area, it possibly could work. My only concern, I would leave it exactly where it was, but since we do have a very limited window where we are trying to encourage the commercial haulers to pick up and drop off, if they were to come at 8 o'clock, the closer it is to the edge, the more likely the audible the beeping is going to be when they back out of the building. If it's in the center or close to the center of the building serves to buffer the noise, and it has less of an impact on the, so that was my thinking. If it can be accommodated, I think it would be a great modification. Obviously, we don't want to destroy the aesthetic of the building,
Through the mayor.
but, yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. President, we only have 2 vendors currently, right now in the city, for trash hauling. It hasn't been the best environments to figure out timing with that, so I would ask your operations team just look into it.
Yeah.
Let's come up with a plan that'll be suffice for everybody.
That's not a
right
problem.
now.
Based on what we're looking at right now, we feel that it is doable. So most definitely, we will look at that, and we'll come up with a solution that definitely works for everyone.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Actually,
It's been
Mayor,
a
one,
headache, that's why.
sorry, one clarification, it's 6 p.m., I misread this. It is
Okay, so
6
it's even,
p.m.,
it's
so
even narrower.
tighter.
Yeah, so, again,
And morning time is what time?
7.
7 a.m., 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, early morning pickup is ideal because that's the time that our city pickups are doing it at 7 in the morning, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for us, it works, the earlier the better. So that's why I think, based on what we're seeing right now, that there is, I feel, a solution to be able to centralize a little bit more and then compensate for having an earlier.
Yeah, and we understand as well, it's not, we've had this issue with commercial owners that are trying to do the right thing, but at the end of the day, they're subject to the scheduling of the commercial hauler. There's two in particular that dominate the market, and so sometimes it's hard to push and pull and get them to actually cooperate.
Correct.
So we find ourselves in that situation right now with a building that's on the edge of a literally adjacent to a single-family home. Sir, you're recognized.
Another question I had on the duplexes on the backside. Are you making a condo association with the 8 units in the rear? The reason I was asking is right now it was stated through Mr. Alvarez that our city would pick it up. Currently, the code states that we only have 3 or less. Now, we are in the process of changing that and looking into it. But what is the process that you guys have on the condo side? How is it being set up? That will dictate commercial, residential on our side on the code. So I just wanted to ask that.
So the intention is for the homes not to be a condominium. There will be fee simple lots.
Folio.
That being said, they will have some shared common elements, so we need to come up with the right vehicle through a simplified HOA, if you will. But again, it will not be a condominium. The intent here is for it to be a fee simple lot. But once again, because of some of the shared elements, i.e. the shared wall, et cetera, they will have to come up with some type of vehicle to address the common elements for the homes.
I don't foresee this being a problem in the future. Currently, right now, it is. So,
It may not be. I mean, I think what he's describing is a series of duplexes with a party wall agreement. So I don't think it would trip our standard even today, Commissioner Kaya. Quite honestly, if that's the way they're going to structure it. I would just encourage you to have a conversation with the city attorney about that. We certainly are happy to provide the service, and if we can get you to the right result from a structure perspective, so you can meet today's standard, depending on where we land on that other conversation, it's not an issue, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
Further questions? I only have one other question, and that is related to the townhomes. What's the timing, and to staff, do we have any conditions related to the timing of the delivery of those units? To the sponsor, what's your intention as to when those would be developed? Would they be developed concurrently with the building? Obviously, they provide a very important transition element. I think we prefer to have it delivered concurrently as opposed to separately over time. What's the intention there?
So as part of our development agreement, we do have a timeline. I believe that the entire project needs to be delivered. I believe it's 48 months from approval, I believe. So ultimately, in a perfect world, to build everything simultaneously is our intent. Obviously, the building will take longer to build versus the homes. But the intent would be to start everything, most definitely the civil aspect of it will start simultaneously. The vertical construction, the intent here would be to hopefully start both at the same time. But again, that being the case, if they start at the same time, the homes will most definitely be delivered and built and delivered first.
I'm not worried about the start of construction. I'm worried about the timing of the completion of the medical office building, which will certainly take more time, and the delivery of the homes, let's just say at CO or TCO of the building itself. So I don't know if we've had any conversations about that timing issue or how it's reflected in the DA.
We have not, it's not addressed in the DA, but if you wanted, and if the applicant is open to it, we could say that the CO for the medical building will not be issued until.
Yeah, again, that puts them in a very hard position. But I think there should be, and maybe we can delegate this authority to you.
There is no separate timeline for the townhouses.
There is no separate, but all we have is a timeline within which the improvements have to be constructed.
Yeah, we also have timelines for when they have to be.
What happens to their, what happens to their, let's assume, and again, for me, the worst case would be the medical office building gets built and the townhomes never get built.
Right.
So we have the single-family neighbors staring at the back, undeveloped lot for the first 75 feet in the back of the parking garage. So if they don't meet the timeline with respect to the townhomes, what?
Yeah, it is not set up to permit these separately.
Okay, so they are being permitted together.
That is the way it is set up in the development agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one project.
But permitting is different than construction. So if the building takes 2 years to get built, and then there's another 2 years until the townhouses get built, they're still under the 48 month.
It would still be under the 48 months.
Which is what the mayor doesn't want.
Right.
And I agree with him, by the way.
So we could structure it and say that it depends how severe, do you want it permitted? Permitting of the townhouses prior to the medical office building?
No.
And completion prior to the medical office building?
I don't think it has to be, I think I would like them to be concurrent or within a very narrower window of
Within
time.
180 days of each other?
Or 12 months, right? So
12
it's not a condition that's,
Okay.
remains open forever. You know, again, I don't, it's just I think an important, if we're going to provide for the transition,
We should have-
the buildings that provide the transition should exist, right? So,
Right.
again, I understand that complicates a for sale execution because you probably want to pre-sell those, but I would say to you, if I had to spec build 8 townhomes anywhere, I would want to do them here in South Miami because I think there's a very robust market for the product. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that and on the
I
timing.
think one of the big considerations is, these are 2 different product types.
Correct.
We'll need a staging area to develop the medical office building at a time, and then because the townhomes they're able to be developed much quicker, right? The intent was always to have that as a staging area, then possibly.
And I would prefer that over staging on the right-of-way, for example. So what would you suggest in terms of a nexus between the delivery of the building and the delivery of the townhomes as a
Well, I mean,
condition? Or
critical for
what's in the
that-
agreement today? Because I don't remember that detail.
Yeah, I think what's in the agreement today is the finalized product being 48 months.
That's right.
Right, but there's no timeline as to when each kicks off. So I think that what's critical for us is just that they're separate processes and separate timelines to be able to do that. If we can come to an agreement as to what's an acceptable time frame for each one to get permitted, maybe there's a staggered start to the townhomes because they can be built faster. We're certainly open to that, but we just need to also have some flexibility to be able to stage and build a medical office building.
Certainly respect that request. I think it's ultimately beneficial to everyone to allow you guys to stage on that portion of the lot. We have public comment still. It's a public hearing item. Let's hear from the public on the application, but I think we should spend some time thinking about how we tie those two together, okay? Further questions before we let the applicant sit down? None? Okay, thank you for the presentation. This is a public hearing item. We'd like to invite any member of the public who'd like to address this commission on items 4 and 5. Please come forward at this time. Mayor Stoddard, you're recognized.
Philip Stoddard, 6820 Southwest 64th Court. Boy, you guys are reminding me how much work it is being a member of this commission and mayor and staff and attorneys. Thank you all for the great job you're doing. First, I want to say this project's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's come a ways. It's pretty good overall. I do have a couple of concerns I wanted to share with you. One is that you talked about how to modify road access and so forth. 70th Street is allowed eastbound egress only, not ingress. There's a reason for that. Somebody went through there once and crashed into the house at the end, caught fire and burned to death in front of the neighbors. And so they made it one way so that wouldn't happen again, and it's been pretty effective at keeping it from happening. But it means that everybody who gets access to that neighborhood goes in through 69th Street. So please don't restrict the 69th Street ingress to the neighborhood. Otherwise, you block folks off.
We're thinking about doing like a timed, what I was envisioning was a timed, sorry, Mayor, I intervened.
It's fine, go ahead.
A timed area where.
If you could stop Mr. Stoddard's time, please.
It's all right.
That's okay.
Well, you'll give me an extra minute.
We'll let him claim some time.
But go
I think
ahead.
what I was thinking in mind is having timed, whether it's 7 to 9 and 3 to 5, where you're going to see an abundance of 353 allocated cars right around that same time, leaving an ingress and egress. So it's going to get complicated. So I think we just have to figure that out. That's all I was saying about that.
Yeah, well, medical office is actually busy all day long as opposed to having a specific flood time, and it's it's different from residential.
Yes.
So in my experience, whenever we've done this, put these restrictions in, the cops wind up ticketing the wrong people essentially, and it causes problems for the neighborhood. people coming in to do residential care and so forth are often getting tickets rather than the people who are cutting through the neighborhood. So that, I mean, I sat up where you were for 10 years, and this is something we struggled with. So that's something I've got my eye on. And I'll be back and bugging you guys if you screw up my neighborhood. Second thing is, I'll be 90 years old before those oak trees 25 feet on center are shading the sidewalk in 62nd Avenue. Got to do a better job. And Mayor, thank you for flagging that one. Geigers, tababuyas, and green buttonwoods are not shade trees. They're pretty, but they're not shade trees. So the applicant really does need to do a better job of getting shade. And I think what I'd like to see is an arborist give projections. I don't know that you have anybody on staff who can really do this, but I think you need professional assistance to figure out what's the time frame for getting shade over 62nd Avenue. And the analysis has talked about walking access to Metro Rail, and it really is important, to have good walking access on 62nd Ave. And the shade is such an important feature of that. And 62nd Avenue right now has miserable shade. That site does have 2 specimen grade oak trees. I know this because I practice fly casting on that lot, and I have to say what's planned is a higher and better use, but I will miss the spot. But really, I think those are the main things. And if you want to figure out how to keep those townhouses from not getting built, why don't you make the CO on the medical office building contingent on having started the townhouses?
Thank you for the suggestion.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Okay, anyone else who'd like to address the commission on this item, please? Ms. Fisher, you're recognized.
Thank you very much. I agree with former Mayor Stoddard that you all do a beautiful job.
Thank you.
I don't know if the city still has an arborist on staff, but I have a few environmental concerns that I would like to bring forward about this project. For one thing, when I saw the picture up on the screen there, I saw 4 beautiful, flourishing green trees that have been there for decades and decades. I don't know how long, but I would like to have for the city to have an arborist take a look at those trees and evaluate them and see if they are specimen trees or not. And are they worthy of being relocated to another spot somewhere in the city where they might be of great value?
So, Ms. Fisher, I think to your point, the applicant is proposing to relocate them on the site already. And so I'm happy to have, maybe Mr. Alvarez can share with you the plan so you can see what their plan is to preserve those very trees that you're concerned about.
They want to relocate them on the site?
Yes, so they would take them from the center to the edge. And there's an illustration that really characterizes that perfectly. I don't know, Mark, if you can share it with her, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope there's enough space for the roots wherever they want to relocate them and for the trees to flourish and continue to be as beautiful as they are now. So that's great, thank you. Then the other thing that I want to say is that this many, many decades ago, this city was designated as a bird sanctuary. And when Sally Phillips was mayor, she sponsored an ordinance to have bird safety class for any new projects or any new buildings whatsoever, even homes. And somehow or other, the next commission after her, they didn't like it. They didn't want it for some reason. I think maybe they didn't want to burden the developer with that. And I would like to see some kind of bird safety window treatment. Doesn't have to be safety glass. It can be mini blinds that are just opened in such a way that it looks like there are lines across the glass so that birds won't fly into the glass. Or there could be some kind of ornamental screening on the outside of the glass so that the birds would see some kind of lines going across the glass. I would really hate to see just all this clear glass being put up and then see the corpses of birds laying around the building. It's really an issue. And being this is a designated bird sanctuary, let's live up to that title, please. So, and then the other issue is not environmental, but it's just that I have is just an issue dealing with the parking spaces. I want all of you to make sure there are plenty of parking spaces for all of the uses that are going to take place in this project. I personally have to take someone to medical appointments very often because that person, if he goes by himself, he oftentimes cannot find a parking space. That's the way it is in the parking garage for the 7,000 building, and it's like that all over the place. It's a real problem. So just please make sure there's a very generous amount of parking with the end product that the city is going to get. And that's it. Thank you very much for your consideration of my remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Anyone else who'd like to address this commission as part of the public hearing? If there's any member of the public online who'd like to speak, please feel free to raise your virtual hand. Seeing no one else online and no one else in the chamber, we'll close the public hearing. Colleagues, further items for discussion? Just to Ms. Fisher, on the parking, 200-plus surplus parking spaces above the code requirement, and I will share my personal experience as a patient of a dentist who is at Mr. Perez's project in south of the Baptist campus, which I would say is about as close to the current condition as we could have. It's a building that transitions from obviously the very intense campus to a transitional building and then into a neighborhood that also has the Riviera Day School just down the street, and all the movement is internalized, right? I've never parked my car there. I typically just leave it with the valet because they have a valet service. But it's, I think this project probably even exceeds, I'll let the developer speak to that, the parking standard there. I think it works really well with that neighborhood, so excited about this opportunity. Yes, colleagues. Yes, sir.
Sorry, Mayor, can I clarify just a couple things?
Please, if you can.
Yes, so the resolution, the architecture condition of the resolution, which is condition 28, which requires substantial compliance with the plans, there was, when this project was first proposed, there was one alternative that dealt with access to the townhouses. Instead of from the west, from 68th Court, it would come from the center of the site and parking in the rear. They did not present that tonight because the plan had changed, but there is a possibility, and they have raised the possibility, the potential for actually reincorporating that into
So
the
doing
project.
something more of a traditional neighborhood
Right.
design?
Right, so,
Yeah.
yeah, and which the Design Review Board was in favor of, which I believe Mr. Alvarez was in favor of. So to the extent that, I just want to carve out space for them to be able to do that, even though we're providing substantial compliance with the plans.
Colleague, any objections to that modification? I have none, so okay. I think we're fine.
And then to the extent that that involves, modifications to the townhouses, okay.
No objections there either.
The only other thing is in the development agreement, there are 8 parking spaces on 68th and 69th Court that are on-street parking spaces that are currently there. What we have negotiated with them is how to address those parking spaces. We've provided kind of the two potential alternatives for them. Number one, it would be essentially what amounts to a $102,800 payment. That would be for removal of those 8 spaces. 4 of those spaces are actually, they conflict with their.
Yeah, so, Mr. City Attorney, if you could, before you get to the second point,
Yes.
you can clarify for this board how the number was arrived at.
Absolutely. So that number there are 8 parking spaces, but 4 of those spaces have to do with, they directly conflict with the ingress and egress to the site.
Understand, but the number,
I
102,000.
will.
Okay, no, just if the actual.
Got it.
Because the prior number was substantially higher.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So our parking director / finance minister.
Finance director, minister of parking
That's
and
right.
parking enforcement.
Our parking czar. He relooked at the math and looked at that area of parking, the Larkin area of parking, and factored in all of the revenue from all of those spaces, divided it by all those spaces, and determined that the actual impact of each of those spaces was $25,700.
Okay.
Okay? Actually, $25,705. Very important, the $5. Those, we applied that against 4 spaces because we figured they have their ingress and egress, plus there are modifications to that right-of-way that are favored to make it more look more like a residential street as we go further west. Mr. Alvarez touched on that. So for 4 spaces, that adds up to $102,800, $820. So that's choice 1. Choice 2, which is actually favored by our parking czar, is that they would provide 8 of the spaces on the ground floor inside the garage as public parking spaces, which might work just fine. And we would put up our signage and use them just as on-street parking space and put some signage on the outside of the building to say that there's public parking inside the building.
Okay. Colleagues, any questions about that item?
A question?
Yes, sir.
What is the parking, and this is to the developer, what is the parking situation inside? Is it all valet, like the mayor gets wherever he goes, or is it paid by parking? Is it self-parking? How does that work? By the way, I was just kidding.
No, I know you, it was
No,
funny.
I'm sure the valet opulence may be offered, but really it's self-parking, having the 353 parking spaces available.
Self-parking.
Self-parking.
So what would be the use of getting, and it's free, I'm assuming to.
It's free. It's
Yeah.
open to the.
So, well, yeah, it doesn't make sense there, right? That's what I'm thinking here.
They're not required to keep it free. They could charge it someday. So I think Mr. Rivero was just trying to protect his 8 spaces and provide that, because other people in the area use those spaces presently, and he predicts that they may be using it in the future. But you're right, to the extent that it's free, it's not much competition.
The other aspect of, the $100,000 is, speaking about 62nd Avenue and having the ability to create more of a canopy on 62nd Avenue. This could lie well with our tree fund, where we can apply a lot of the trees specifically on that canopy on 62nd, on the median, as we continue to get that a little bit more shaded, the rest of our city as well. So just an opinion there.
I'll just echo, I agree with, I think we should just take the cash payment. We've been working on this revision for the parking removal ordinance. There was this let's make a deal provision that our city attorney included with development agreements. I don't like that, which is why I've been working on a revision. I think we just want to have a clear standard. Part of the accommodation here was reflective of language in Coral Gables. They have a similar removal provision, but they do accommodate for the fact that, lots should have access. And so where the removal is in conjunction with providing access to a lot for future development, they provide a credit. And so that's how we kind of arrived at this 4-space credit for the 2 sides of 68th and 69th. And I think that's just, we should have a standard. I think practically having 8 off-street spaces in the garage will be, 1, confusing to the public, and 2, won't generate any real revenue, given that they're going to have surplus parking that folks can just park in for free. So I agree. Let's take the payment.
All right, we can remove that from the development agreement? The direction?
That would be the direction, again, assuming the majority of the commission agrees. Any objection on your part, or?
I mean, I think what we had discussed was that those would be pay-by-phone decal parkings. Any people that park at the building that are not tenants of the building or visitors to the building would have their car towed as anyone else off the street. But for those specific 8 spaces, that would be pay-by-phone. That would be money that comes to the city. There's no joint shared agreement with the private developer. The city would make all of that profit. But to the extent that they're free parking spaces, yes, they're open to the pub. They're open spaces. They're not open to the public.
Inviting non-guests onto your property, something happens, someone God forbid, is robbed, hurt, their car's broken into, again, I don't want you involved. I think we're kind of involving you into some potential litigation there, and it creates some additional exposure. Again, if it's something you are absolutely committed to, I mean, I could find myself supporting it. I just think it's blurs a lot of lines. I
think the text provided for an either-or scenario.
Okay.
So I don't think we're married to one or the other.
I, for one, am not a fan of public parking inside their building.
Okay, so I think that's unanimous. So let's, if it's up to us, let's remove it.
Okay.
And let's just provide for the reduced payment. Okay? Further comments on the DA? Okay. Timings on the timing of the trash pickups. You said it was now 7 to 6 are our permitted hours.
Correct.
I know their intention was to do it after hours. I don't know, again, I don't want to impose another condition on the property that is more onerous than what the code already provides for. So I think if Mr. Perez, if your intention is to have it serviced in the morning as early as 7 so that they're cleared out before, your rush, certainly any time during that window is fine with us and complies with the our current standards. So do we need to have a condition with respect to trash pickup hours?
We already have it with the code.
Yeah, with the code,
Already.
correct. Okay, so let's just leave it as is. Let's
Right.
remove that.
Okay.
We'll let them proffer a modification if it's feasible, ideally, and anything else that we wanted to add other than the modifications to selection of street trees that provide more shade and possibly adding some defensive design elements to force right turn and left turn egress movements only in the respective streets. Anything else?
There were 2 other issues you guys mentioned. There was the moving that solid waste storage to the center of the building.
I said, yeah, let's
Oh,
see
you
if they
have
can
that already?
proffer an alternative.
Right, and
you know,
then the
if it's
timing of the
feasible.
townhouses was the last.
I think the former mayor had it, if it's acceptable to Mr. Perez, I think if the timing is one that they have to have a building permit for the construction of the townhomes approved by the time they ask for a TCO or CO for the medical office building. Does that work for you from a timing perspective?
Well, I think it was all going to be permitted together anyway, right?
So again, as stated earlier, there are two different uses, so I do not want to tie one to the other. I feel perhaps that a fair solution may be to tie at least one of the townhomes commences to give me CO on the building. Listen, there's a very high probability that the townhomes start first.
First, yeah, no, it's yeah.
But again, in the event that it doesn't, and in our lives, as we all know, we gotta plan accordingly and look at every situation. The last thing that I want is, for whatever reason, the townhomes don't sell, my pre-leasing continues to go the way it's going for the medical office building. I have an asset ready to go, I have tenants ready to move in, and now, because I didn't start the townhomes, the city's not giving me a CO.
We don't want to cut
I can't
we don't
put
want to
myself
cut
in-
our nose to spite our face either. So
Correct.
I guess, is this going to require a replat?
What he described will require a
Yeah,
replat,
so
yes.
we will replat the site, correct?
Okay, so would it be possible to have, is it be two separate or two separate tracks?
It would be the 8, each lot for those 8 townhouses would be its own.
Correct.
It'd be
Or, I'm sorry,
it'd
would
be
be
4 lots.
Four.
4 lots?
Plus 1 for the
Plus the
entire
one
medical
large
office.
tract?
That's
Okay,
right.
so I'm assuming, would it be possible before, to maybe make it 2 conditions? I would say, have final plat recorded for the total subdivision, and at least 1 building permit issued for one of the 4 duplexes by the time you ask for CO for the medical office building. Is that a workable condition for you?
So final plat recorded or T-plat approved? What?
I would say final plat, I mean, I'm assuming to start construction, you're going to have a T-plat approval
Well,
on the med office building.
I think that's a fair solution.
Assumption, so, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, through the mayor, I mean, another way where we can compromise is, we could set it with the CO, right? But you could still obtain TCO. So your main objective of moving tenants in, you'll still be able to do that. But TCO only allows to be extended for, I guess you get 2 extensions, which is 6 months. So that'll give you that much time, so 6 months after
Yeah.
TCO, that he would have to have started.
I think he's concerned about it becoming an issue with procuring financing and lender approval. What's, yeah.
I think he's nervous about not being able to move in his tenants.
We want to move them in, yeah.
Correct. So with TCO, they could operate, and Commissioner Rodriguez is correct. We could commence operations through a TCO, so that perhaps is a fair approach as well.
And it gives them 6 months to then, they can do 2 extensions, which was pretty much 6 months, and by that point, they would have to start construction on the townhomes and then get their CO. And they could still move in there.
I'm fine with that.
And then the other element is the final plat recorded.
It will have to be recorded before CO.
Yeah. Okay, Tony, you want to read back the items and just make sure that you understand and are fine with them?
Yep.
So we're clear. And then we can vote the item up or down.
Okay, so we have, the modification would include the architecture condition that I described, which would allow for modification of the plans to accommodate
Rear-loaded townhomes?
site access, exactly,
Okay.
from the Senate site. The solid waste storage and pickup location would be moved further internal to the site to be roughly equidistant from 68th and 69th Street to internalize operations. Directional turning traffic, egressing out of the garage on the north would be right turn only, on the south would be left turn only. Developers would work with development services staff to provide for a denser canopy along Southwest 62nd Avenue with ample shade trees. And then the last one has to do with the timing of the townhouses, which is that the final plat would be recorded for the entire subdivision, plus a building permit for at least one duplex prior to full certificate of occupancy.
Sure. Okay. Understood?
With a TCO permitted.
I'm sorry? Yeah,
Yes.
I'll add the waiver, yes.
Well, he didn't mention it, so just in case.
Is that fine with you?
With a TCO permitted.
With a TCO permitted, with 2 extensions.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Correct. The TCO element's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the idea is to allow for occupancy, just not final certificate of occupancy.
Final certificate, right.
Okay. Okay, so the applicant understands, has no objection to the conditions with that. Is there a motion to approve
I'll move the motion.
item 4? Right, wait, so these conditions are attaching to the DA
And I'm going to
And-
work them into.
and the development order as well?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So we have a motion to approve item 4 as
Oh, and-
modified,
And 5,
as modified with the conditions read by the city attorney.
I'll move the motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Rodriguez on item 4 with a second by Vice Mayor Corey. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll on item 4, please.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonish,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes as amended.
Okay. If you can, is there a motion on item 5, please? Again, the motion is to adopt item 5 as modified with the conditions expressed by the city attorney. Is there a motion?
I'll move the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Rodriguez and a second again by Vice Mayor Corey. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonish,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0.
Thank you for your investment.
Thank
Thank you for your patience with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you all. Thank you. Have a great night.
Have a good night. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Okay. Madam Clerk, if you can read item 1, please.
Item 1, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, approving a proposal and project agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates to provide professional engineering services relating to the Little House Reserve Park project at 6609 Southwest 60th Street in an amount not to exceed $104,773.50.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions on item 1? It's a snicker time.
Thank you.
Well,
I was turning into a hangry person, so I needed a Snickers.
any questions on item 1 for someone who's not having a Snickers as of yet? No. Give her a second to take it in. I do have a comment I wanted to share, which is I think we should approve this item. The preliminary design, again, is really, I think, focused, what was in the illustration, seems to focus really on being hyper efficient in terms of the number of spaces that we could derive from the improved parking lot, and I would just like to encourage the consultant to really look at a preservation strategy for trees on that footprint. There are a lot of Dade County pine, it's pretty rare. There's some other pretty mature trees on the site. This is an attempt to improve the condition, but not, in my opinion, render it the most efficient possible parking lot. And I'd prefer to see them use something other than asphalt as the paving surface for the parking apron when they analyze the development of this potential improvement. Those are my two comments and what I wanted to provide by way of direction to the manager as they study the alternative. Commissioner Kaye?
Yeah, in my agenda meeting as well, I said the same thing. I brought up the exact same thing, maybe a paver or wood paver structure where it's a lot more permeable, a lot more naturalistic into that area to keep that rustic look. And the tree canopy, of course, will be, so I do not want asphalt at all.
Okay. Madam Commissioner, yes.
I'm ready, thank you. I thought maybe this was like a little early, because in my mind, we would be dealing with the whole tree issue first. So when I look at like a list of things we could or should be spending our money on, not that I think this is a bad idea, because I think we all agree that that parking lot is a nightmare. I just don't know if that's something we need to do right now while we're still trying to figure out the other side, which I think is maybe a bigger priority.
Yeah, I think it's a valid question. So, yes, sir.
Okay, so, through the mayor, this is actually important for me, obviously, and for Commissioner Bonich, because this is our neighborhood.
Of course, yeah.
So, for me, this is very important. I agree with both you and with Commissioner Kaye about using a permeable paver, just to make it different. This is on 67th Avenue. This is I guess like an entrance feature from off Miller into the city. So where I say we do something permeable as far as park, but also do something where we can do, maybe like a small knee wall, coral rock wall in the front of it. Especially now that we saw those conceptual drawings for Palmer Park, I think this is will feed into that. So if we make this parking lot just a little extra nicer, I think as people are coming into our city from 67th Avenue, it's a feature, and I think it's important. And I'm not just saying that it's because it's our neighbor, but especially now, again, I'm repeating myself, but with the conceptual drawing of Palmer Park, I think it'll just flow. And then in respect to, I spoke with the manager, we are, I guess what the manager had told me was the fence will come first for the house. And then once that's done, then we'll work on the trees, which I know he's already working on. And I believe, and he can say it better than I can, obviously, but that there's a possibility of bringing back with a Miami-Dade, we can get this done at no cost to us.
That'd be amazing.
The cleanage of the foliage and all that. So it is in the process of being done. So we are doing all three at the same time. So I'm with both of you, and hopefully we can do some nice frontal feature there.
More importantly, we need to ask Mr. Resio's parents what they think too, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
Why, your parents live there?
They live all right, yeah, just on the north side, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mid-block. Yeah. I think if you ask the neighbors if they want a lot of access on that, in that reserve, they'd tell you no. So anyhow, okay. Any further comments? No? Okay. Yeah, is there a motion to approve item 1?
I'll move the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Commissioner Rodriguez, a second by Commissioner Kaye. Mr. Manager, you, I think, heard the feedback, so if you could take that under advisement, we'd appreciate it. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye.
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Yes, it's late.
Commissioner Bonich.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey.
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0.
Thank you. If you could read item 2, please.
Item 2, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, approving the proposal and project work purchase order with EXP US Services, Inc. to provide project management services and advisory on-call and project-specific support services, authorizing expenditure of funds, providing for implementation, correction, severability, and an effective date.
Colleagues, any questions on item 2? No. Mr. Manager, my only question again, was it finally 4 months that we were extending the term for, or was it longer?
The mayor, the proposal says 5 months, but in reality, given that it's an up to time and materials of $142,990, we verified, it could take 6 months.
Okay, that's fine. So
depending on
basically,
how- on our burn
whatever
rate.
time it takes to exceed the amount, I just wanted to make sure you had
Yeah.
enough time to use the contract,
No,
and you weren't limited
no.
by that
Valid
temporal
point.
period.
The help has been incredibly timely and certainly helpful to the staffing and the workload and certainly the expertise. So, yeah, I appreciate the thought. And we'll reevaluate. We have our CIP manager that just started, and this is going to help transition. I think at that time, we'll reevaluate how to proceed, at that moment.
Thank you for that. With that, colleagues, is there a motion?
I'll move it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Kaya and a second by Commissioner Bonich. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on item 2.
Yes, Commissioner Bonich,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0.
If you can read item 7, please.
Item 7, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida relating to a South Miami pension plan by amending Chapter 16 Pensions, Article 2, City Pension Plan, Section 16-12 definitions, in order to effectuate the memorandum of understanding between the city and Police Benevolent Association and the Fraternal Order of Police.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Colleagues, the second reading of the item we heard last month. Any questions of City Attorney and the Manager? Seeing no questions, this is a public hearing item. We will open up item 7, again, which is an ordinance relating to the South Miami Pension Plan by amending Chapter 16 pensions and related definitions. If any member of the public would like to address this commission on this item, please come forward at this time. If there's any member online who would like to address this commission, please raise your virtual hand. Seeing no one in the chamber and no virtual hand raised online, we will close the public hearing. Is there a motion on item 7?
I'll move it.
Second.
We have a motion to adopt by Commissioner Bonich, seconded by Commissioner Kaye. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Bonich,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0.
Okay, great. So colleagues, I think we've gotten through all the business other than the one discussion item on affordable housing, so I'll be very brief on that one next. Commissioner Rodriguez, I want to thank you again, as I said in the memo, for bringing forward the discussion recently about an opportunity I think we all agree with. There are certainly different ways to pursue this. I think any course we choose, this is something that I think, without offense to anyone here, myself included, really is outside of our core competence as a city. And I think we've got a rare opportunity to kind of position ourselves and be ready to either consider a proposal or formulate our own solicitation in the future. And I think we'd be best positioned to do that with the advice of specialized counsel. These by no means are, and I think a consultant, and these by no means the only people in the market that we could certainly work with. And if we decide to give direction to the city manager, city attorney to, engage these people in discussions, I invite them to suggest other names for our consideration as well. But in thinking about counsel that's in the marketplace, I work with, I wanted to be an attorney who did this kind of financing work. Unfortunately, when I came out of law school in the market, there were no tax credit transactions happening because it was the Great Recession. And there are very few people, no one had tax liability. So these transactions were essentially shelved for a period of time. But, I had the luxury of working with Brian McDonough at Stearns Weaver and Terry Lovell, that for a long time in South Florida has been the go-to practice. There's a practitioner at Schutz that's very prominent as well. There are a smattering of others, but those two practice groups, now Mr. Lovell and Mr. McDonough no longer work together. One's at Bilzen, one's at Stearns Weaver, but they represent basically the kaleidoscope of all the actors in this affordable housing and workforce housing space. So I had the fortune of, full disclosure, meeting Mr. Whitney. I was having a recruiting conversation with Paul Sinelli. It was a firm at one time I was considering joining. He is someone that's very steeped in this area, understands structuring both the joint venture side and the transactional side of these engagements, and so, but does not represent anyone in the local marketplace. And so I thought is that we're looking at possible options for lawyers who know the subject matter, but aren't going to be conflicted out or not want to be conflicted out because they're not representing developers actively in Miami-Dade or Broward, Miami-Dade specifically. Mr. Whitney's one of those people. He has a very successful practice nationally in two markets principally. I kind of provided some of the volume of work he did last year, 73 transactions in the tax equity, mostly light tech space. So he knows this work and I think could represent us well and help us understand how we could either approach a deal with someone like Coral Rock or anyone else in terms of structuring a solicitation. So I think we'd be well served by having his advice as specialized counsel to backstop our great team already. And then Ms. Gomez is someone I had the good fortune of working with 20 some odd years ago when she was the community development director at the city of Miami. It's not always been a perfect relationship with Barbara and I, but I have immense respect for her capacity. Tony, I'll remind you of the reason for that comment. She's a good person. She does work with, she represents a lot of the developers in this space as they try to pursue either home monies or surtax proceeds from entitlement jurisdictions and the county. So she knows the timing, she knows the structuring of these deals from a lot of the other subsidy vehicles that are out there. And I think it would be helpful to have her on board to either evaluate a proposal and make sure that we are not over subsidizing the deal through our contribution to the land principally. So we're getting just value out of it or getting the maximum affordability. Or should we go the route of actually soliciting can help us kind of understand the timing of all these other sources of funding that we could tap into and make sure that as we are soliciting a respondent party, we can account for those dollars and the timing of them and their experience in procuring either surtax home, local bond funding, or any other sources of funding that are available to support these deals. So I wanted to proffer two names because I think whatever we decide to do, time is never our friend. And if we begin to, tie up talent, I think we're in a better position then to respond to any opportunity that comes to us or pursue the possibility of soliciting a team to help us chase down any affordable housing product that we want to advance. So the idea would be to just give direction to the manager to start a conversation with these folks about a possible engagement or any other folks that, any other lawyer the city attorney wants to recommend who's got knowledge in the space, or the manager, I would say, any other consultant who may have experience of a similar kind in the community development space and bring back, for our consideration, again, hopefully this is all below the procurement threshold, but at least to give us a sense that, if we agree that we should be retaining folks with this kind of knowledge, background, expertise, so we can kind of move forward, I think, more aggressively in pursuing a project, if that's, again, the will of the commission. So that's all I've got to say. Two names for your consideration, and again, I think the idea would be to decide whether we want to give the manager direction to begin conversations with professionals, specialized counsel, and possibly a consultant to help us either evaluate a deal or formulate a proposal. Thoughts, colleagues?
So,
Anyone start?
I guess, through the mayor.
Yes, sir.
I'm okay with bringing on people that'll help us, and I think people who have knowledge of this can help expedite the process. So I'm not against that at all. As a matter of fact, I want to push to expedite this process. So to my fellow colleagues, and I'm sure the mayor, you already know, I guess the tax subsidies, the applications have to be in by June. I believe they have to be in by June. So if we solicit this and go to an RFP process, there's no way we're gonna make it by June. I don't believe, because let's say we make it by April, you're gonna give a developer 2 months to get all their paperwork and everything ready. We're gonna miss the window, and we're gonna have to wait till next year. And I think that this product is something that's really needed in our community as soon as possible. So that's why I'm pushing for going with Coral Rock, not because I want to use, it's just they're ready to go, and I know that they're willing to work with us with the criteria that we set forth.
It wasn't a we, though.
Huh?
It wasn't we.
What do you mean?
So guys, I don't want to, if I could just offer this,
Well,
I don't,
you can offer what criteria you would want to put. You're going to have a meeting with them next week. You can tell them exactly what it is that you would like to see out of it.
So gentlemen, I don't want to get into what I think germane to this conversation is, do we think, whatever we decide to do we need professional help that can advise us? And I would say, whether it's one or the other, I think we need help in either universe. I don't want, because I will tell you that as much as I know, I don't know, whether the timing of the surtax program should be our driver or not. What I do know is that there's more I need to know. And, I can have very deep conversations with Mr. Wall, because I think he is one of the foremost practitioners in this space. Could he be an excellent partner? Absolutely. But when we want to talk about structuring the deal and getting the most value, what I want to make sure is I'm ready to respond, because he may come forward with something tomorrow, in 2 weeks, or a month, right? And if someone else on this commission wants to proffer a discussion item to say yay or nay on sole sourcing this with one party, or I want to move forward a solicitation, then let's have that conversation. I don't want to mix the two right now, because I want to make sure is that we get ahead of the receipt of a potential proposal, and we avoid having lawyers in the marketplace conflicted out because someone else, it could be Mr. Wall, it could be somebody else says, you know what, I got a great proposal too, and they send in a proposal tomorrow, but they're represented by Sean Whitney, or pick somebody else, right? So my thought was, let's pick a team like we did with City Hall, and then let's worry about, what comes in. It could be 1 response, 10 responses, 1 proposal, 2 unsolicited proposals. That's where I'm trying to get to. Just let's be ready. Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate what you're saying to keep the 2 items separate. I think it's smart. I commend both you and you for one of you for thinking of it, and the other one for accepting it to his original idea. All of that being said, I think if we know that Coral Rock is very good, I don't know why we would start to open it up. The same as we've kind of done, I think, before, where we'll go down the road with somebody. I think maybe that's what we would want to do here. I hear you when you say we're not stuck to June, but if not, it becomes a perpetual thing. So I agree that we should have representation. I actually think that's quite clever. And then when you're saying we separate it, I agree. Let's do 1 and then have the discussion for 2. I hear what Commissioner Rodriguez is saying. I hear what Commissioner Kai is saying too. I just think if we have somebody that might be great, and I don't know them, I don't know who they are, do we want to muddy that water? So I am in support of what you are saying.
I'm trying to stay out of those waters right now. What I'm
Yes,
trying to make sure
exactly.
is that,
Me too.
yeah, I have, look, I think, I'll say this. Could we do a good deal with Michael Wall? Absolutely. But we're not going to be in the position to negotiate the best deal if we don't have the right resources at the table to help us. Okay?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Do I think there would be a lot of interest in a solicitation of this ilk? I mean, I would tell you, I could probably name 6 developer parties, right, that would likely respond. Now, I felt less bullish about City Hall, and we had 1, right? So could it be 2? Could it be 3? The point is, it's in either conversation, we need advice, right? I mean, our city attorneys are excellent, right? Our manager is extremely experienced, but this is a very specialized area of the law, and it involves the most complicated parts of commercial real estate. It has the most layers of financing of any deal. I mean, it makes conventional transactional deals look like nothing, because some of these deals have 5, 6, 7, 8 layers of subsidy to get to where you want to go. And so how all the documents interact, it's complicated. And so I would just like to have us start the process of shaking the bushes to find the right party to work with. 2 names for everyone's consideration. We could hire them or not, I don't care. They will make a recommendation. My goal was just to say, let's have a conversation and give them direction to start to chase down the right people for us.
Okay.
That's what I want to limit the conversation to, because it is
Yeah.
10:30, and I want us to get out of here at some
So do
point.
we all agree on that? I think it's smart.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes?
Okay, so let's move, Mr. Manager and City Attorney, if you can, have a conversation with these two. I've already teed it up somewhat. They're ready to have a conversation. But I think, I would also appreciate if you could bring forward, identify some other names so that we're not just focused on these two, okay? With that, anything further on this item? Okay. Colleagues, we did not do commission reports or remarks. Anything that we would like to say for the record on those items? I'll move left to right.
I'm good.
Okay, Vice Mayor?
All good here.
Sounds good. Commissioner Rodriguez?
No, I'm good.
Sir?
I had a couple things.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Just a reminder to the public that we have the SoMe Kids Market on Saturday. That's going to be a really cool event. It's our 3rd annual one with Commissioner Regalado and a whole bunch of other sponsors. Secondly, this past Saturday, we had our 3rd class of kids financial literacy program. We had over 26 kids, which is a record for that program. Kids from all different schools, different backgrounds. It was an amazing experience. I went and I was there for the first 20, 30 minutes and spoke about the importance of financial literacy, especially at that age group. It was a really cool event. Looking forward to expanding that with your guys' support. And then lastly, that's it. Have a good night.
Thank you. I just want to congratulate you on the Workforce Miami
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
agreement execution. I hope you enjoy working with William Porro as much as I have. For a long time, William is the Assistant Director for CASD at the county. If you ask me what the acronym is at this hour, I can't remember. I know it's Community Action and something else. But he's a rock star and has been doing this work for a long time, and I'm glad that we can participate in that countywide initiative. Yes, sir.
No, I think that, to add to that, I think that all of us, please spread out the word, constituents, people looking for work, start pushing them on this site, and all retailers, restaurants, construction builders, subcontractors, developers, they need employees, as well, so let's push them onto this platform. This platform is not only for South Miami, but we will have a dedicated place for our people here, including our jobs through South Miami on that platform. So let's collectively push on that. I know the comm team, our deputy, across the board, we're all doing a really good job to get this going. So I appreciate your support.
Yeah, and again, just to double back very quickly, the affordable housing and resource conversation, whatever path we go down, kind of the next thing in terms of bringing resources, kind of building on some of the work you're doing is, having a conversation at some point about finding a partner to do credit repair work for people in South Miami that we want to target with a unit, so that when the opportunity that we decide is ready to be teed up, people that are earning enough can meet the moment and not be barred from being able to access those units because their credit is, in some ways impacted. So I appreciate you kind of starting that conversation and beginning the layering with the financial literacy piece, because it's all a continuum that we need to build on.
Francesca, if you're listening, that's the next project right there.
There you go.